Welcome back to the Top 6 Show. Hit the like button, subscribe, get that bell notification button hit as well. Loads to go through today. Man United complete the deal for Benjamin Sesko. Will it be Carlos Baleba next as talks continue for the Brighton midfielder? Chelsea advancing for Alejandro Garnacho. Personal terms are no problem. Clubs debating and discussing the fees now. We're talking Arsenal. They need a left-sided attacker. They need a 10. Graham Bailey has stated that is still wanted by the club. But will it be Eze, Rodrigo, Lookman is now in the picture. And we're also talking about Isak. The new bid is certainly imminent. Newcastle fans are getting frustrated because there's a rumor now they're going to maybe pick him up for a similar fee to what they just had rejected, as Newcastle's position of power is disintegrating with each day. So we're going to go through that over the next hour or so. But like the stream, subscribe, turn on bell notifications. Panel-wise, we've got some old school people and some brand new faces as well. Have Hope has been coming on the Football Terrace since before it was called the Football Terrace. Big up yourself and thanks for coming back. Have Hope, a.k.a. Sebastian. Because he puts on an accent. He's actually a posh man from West London who pretends.
That's a lie.
Tom Little is here with us. He's not a Dortmund fan. He supports Liverpool, but he wears other teams' kits because he cheats. Ladies, remember, he cheats. If you wear other clubs' kits, you are a cheater. And if my daughter ever brings a man home that does that, he is getting a dry slap. Quest is with us. Quest is looking, I don't know what, he's looking like he's going church. He's looking ready. Is it going to be a biblical stream? Let's see what happens. Let's see what happens here. And we're joined by two Dans tonight. We've got Dan in red, who I'm going to maintain his nickname on the Football Terrace. His name is Negative Dan. Okay, Negative Dan. And next to him, we've got Positive Dan as well. So they're mates, they're friends. They stream together on Gooners Therapy, which you can see. But welcome everybody to the show. Thank you for all being here. I hope you're all well and good.
Yep.
Very well, man.
Thank you. Thank you. All good.
All good. So look, we'll start. Look, I've just done an hour stream on it before coming on here. But look, Benjamin Sesko has joined. He becomes a United player, £66 million. We've got the deal for cheaper than Newcastle's bid. We've got him paying less salary than Newcastle offered. The agent has reduced his fee to join the club. All of that, I'm going to be honest with you, is very un-Man United for the last decade. None of that even sounds right for a Man United deal, so I'm happy. But how good a piece of business, I'll go to Tom first on this, how good a piece of business is this for United and our situation? And, you know, how do you think we've gone about it and conducted ourselves?
I like how you come to the man who has been very vehement with his dislike for Benjamin Sesko to start this topic.
Yeah, I know.
I mean, you've done better than Newcastle done, so that's about the only positive you can take from there. I don't get why you bought him. I don't like him as a footballer. I don't think he's a very good footballer. I think that any team paying that amount of money is getting fleeced for him. There were better options on the market for me, more experienced options who could guarantee a consistent output. There's clearly a commitment from you now that Benjamin Sesko is the guy for the next 5 years. He's going to be the one, which is now taking you out of any striker opportunities for the next couple of years, which I think was the wrong move. I think this summer, because of the situation you were in, you should have potentially looked at someone who's a bit older, got a bit more of a guarantee about them, but it leaves the door open to getting so you can enter the market for these other options in the next year or two who suddenly become available. I'm not a big fan of him. I don't rate him as a footballer. I think he's too raw. He can't finish very well. All the stuff that you'd want from this United striker with who you've bought along to go alongside him, I don't think he's the right fit for that. But at least you haven't paid the money Newcastle were going to pay, because I think you've overpaid anyway. But the fact that there was talk of 90 million, that would have been even worse. That would have been catastrophic. So the only positive is you haven't paid 90 million for him. You've got him for cheaper than what could have been offered, and you're not paying him as much as he was offered from other clubs. So at least you've not had your pants pulled all the way down. That's about it. I just don't like him though.
I get you don't. Did anyone disagree on the panel about Sesko as a player? That he's as bad as you think he's a good player, Dan?
I think he's a very good player. I actually initially said when Arsenal were linked with him, I actually said I thought he'd suit our style more than Gyökeres. I was just talking to Dan about it previously, just now before we went live. Sesko, I think, is going to do really well for Manchester United, and I feel like if Gyökeres doesn't work, we could be sitting here with Arsenal fans thinking, "What if?" I mean, I've said this before to you, Terry. When I was watching videos on him, he's strong, he's physical, he's 6'5", but he's fast. How often do you find someone who's 6'5" and fast? He's been known about for years. Sesko for the last 2 or 3 years, he's been known. And when you see other players talk about him, they talk about him in a good way. I see a little bit of, look, dare I say it, but I see a little bit of a Ibrahimovic in there in him. I think. Yeah, I do. I really do.
Crazy talk.
Baby Zlatan. I hear you.
I'm telling you now, I think he's going to be a great signing.
Ibra.
And you're basing that off, like we had our conversation, you are basing that off of highlights that you've gone online and watched. You cannot do that. I'm not saying he's going to flop, but to me, what does 13 goals in the Bundesliga translate to in the Premier League? Like we had this argument before. Yeah, I'm just not too sure. I watched the stream with a Leipzig fan and they said his hold-up play is not good. His link-up play is not good. Yeah, he goes missing for a lot of games. That's why he's only got 13 goals. So I'm not too sure how this is going to go. And as an Arsenal fan, I do hope that he flops. That's just me being honest.
I mean, look, shout out to Boychester Divided actually getting this deal done over Newcastle. Because again, it's like, no, that's their name. Like, Terry even knows. Terry agreed that that's their new name, Boychester Divided. But my thing, though, is
What's their name?
it's Boychester Divided, the Boychester Divided. That's their name. Until they win a major trophy, that's their new name now. But so shout out to them getting the deal done, because we may have to have a small convo about how many people have rejected Newcastle. But here's the thing. Sesko, I don't think is that good. Because he was a huge talk of the town, like, let's say a few years ago. But as Dan just said, the Bundesliga is a very open league that actually plays to striker strengths. So if that's bomb break known as Timo Werner, who almost gave me a heart attack in the UCL final, can look good in the Bundesliga, and this guy only got 13 goals, Dan is completely right. He's going to struggle. But a small caveat is, a player can look like a 6 out of 10 under a certain coach in a system, and he could look like a 9 out of 10 in another system and everything. But to the other Dan, you really would have wanted Sesko over Gyökeres? Because I was speaking to Arsenal fans of like who were vouching for Sesko. I said, wait, even if Gyökeres flops, 10 out of 10, you're going to go for a guy who just made the Ballon d'Or 30-man list and had that kind of crazy record in the UCL. He's much better than Sesko. But Amrim may see something in him that with a bit of coaching under a certain system, under tactics, he can actually look much better for United than he's looked under at Red Bull Leipzig in the Bundesliga. So it's basically down to Amrim.
Yeah, look, I'm going to go to Quest because I'll have my say on this in a minute. I spoke about it a lot. What do you see? We've got a big dichotomy of opinion here. Some not very good, not good hold-up play. It's a weaker league. Positive Dan is sort of along the other line, which is he's going to be a really good player. How do you see it, Quest? Do you think United have bought poorly here at 66 million?
No, look, obviously I've come today in the blazer because I'm here to talk business, and to be honest, for me, Man United is good business. You signed a striker. We watched the stream the other day, and you could just tell that they were struggling to find an outlet going forward. So for me, knowing that Sesko is the kind of player that's going to bulldoze into defenders, bulldoze them over probably because he's got the stature, he's got the size, he's got the strength. I don't see why he's not going to come to United and score 10 to 15 goals this season. I can't see it not working out. The price is kind of crazy. I ain't going to lie. I don't know if it's as crazy as we were saying earlier, because to be honest, if Man United should feel aggrieved about this price, then Liverpool, they should feel like their tummies really have been tickled for what they paid for Ekitike, because I don't see a difference between those two at all. Maybe a marginal difference in the way that they dribble. But if we're talking about just straight gunmen, I think United have got a phenomenal deal. I can't lie. And I actually think it's probably lower risk than Gyökeres. And I say that because having watched Arsenal play, they're not ready to change their style yet to fit Gyökeres in. Sesko is coming into a team where they need somebody who can run and gun, and that is what he does. So for me, it's low risk, big reward for United. The money is high, but I think it will pay off. I'm not going to lie.
I've got a few things to address here. Look, it's not about trying to convince people. Just giving my 10 penneth on this. When people talk about the money, £66 million for a striker of his level who scored 18, and 21 goals in his last 3 seasons, who since August of 2022 is the highest goal scoring player in European football, aged 23 years old and under. So no one of his age group or younger in the last 3 years has actually scored more goals than him. So I think you have to assess that when you're buying a young striker. Are we comparing them right? Very good shooting accuracy. Is he actually that expensive? Well, look, he's £66 million. All the best strikers in the world, the guys that you would look at and go, guarantee. How much are they? Well, they're 130 plus million pounds each. So you're actually talking about someone who's half the price of the guaranteed strikers. I know Gyökeres went cheaper, but that's because of buyout clauses and gentlemen's agreements. That's why he went for a much lower price. The fact that he's only, again, strikers are typically the most expensive players in football. The fact that he's only a few million pounds more expensive than an Anthony Elanga, I don't think it's necessarily that expensive when you start to break that down overall.
Are you talking about in this current market, yeah?
Well, I'm just talking about now in football. Obviously, inflation's happened.
Okay, okay.
£66 million 20 years ago, you'd have bought the best player in the world. But, you know, yesterday, money's changed now. And look, the fact is now £50 million gets you a good winger. £50 million when I was a kid would have bought you could have bought Michael Owen, David Beckham and Paul Scholes for that back in the 90s. Do you know what I mean? And
Shearer was like 30 million and was the most expensive striker for 30 mil.
Forever. When Man United bought Andy Cole.
15 million. Shearer was 15 million.
Yeah, 15. When Man United bought Andy Cole for 8 million, that was a British transfer record, most expensive British player ever. So, like, inflation's happened in the game. And the way I always look at it is, well, what's he going for? What are the best players in the world in his position being sold for? Then I think that's when I look at the value within it. Then you've got your subjectivity. Do you rate him? I disagree with a lot of you. I think he's a very good footballer. I get what the Leipzig fan said, and he watches him regularly. I've watched him fairly regularly as well. Hold up play, you're right. I would say it's good, could improve. He gets a little bit caught up in trying to get into the physical battles. Good first touch. Should maybe release it quicker. He's one-touch play, though, which is the ball into his feet, knocking it round the corner, laying it off. He's absolutely elite. The physical side of it is there. Great technical ability with the ball at his feet. The issues that he's had at Leipzig, I don't necessarily think are his fault. I think some of it is systematic because a lot of their players, and they've got a lot of good players in Leipzig's team, haven't really blossomed or flourished. And Xavi Simons is another. Went there with a lot of hype and a lot of people, is he really as good as people thought? No, he is, and Chelsea are going to show that. Leipzig just weren't a good team, and I think they weren't a good fit, and there was a few square pegs in round holes. I think he'll do fantastically well in our system. We need a striker like him. He's not the finished article. And the only thing I disagree with you on, Tom, which you said earlier, is this doesn't stop us buying more attackers over the next 2 or 3 years either. I mean, if he's doing well and really well, we might not need to. But if he's struggling, or if he's only getting 13, 14 league goals a year, which is pretty good, and there's an opportunity out there to go and get another striker, United will do it. Let's not pretend like we don't spend money. We don't.
You're going to sell Højlund, who you bought for nearly 70 million. So
yeah, and we're Man United. Like, this was meant to be the summer where we were broke and had no money. We've dropped £190 million already. Like this, we have to stop believing that we're the ones who are lying. Man United are telling everyone we're going to no money. We're liars.
Man United always find the money from somewhere.
Bro, you don't.
I genuinely think United could get top 5 now, especially if they get Baleba.
I think they should.
What do you guys make? We'll get on to the top predictions in a minute. What do you make of the Baleba links? Because
that's
they're real and they're genuine. They're real and they're genuine. Good signing. What do you mean, Quest? You don't think Baleba's good?
I don't. Listen, I just think I've watched Brighton games where I've seen Baleba get to the edge of the box, take a shot, and it's gone roll Z+. I've seen him in the mix now. What he's good at for me when I've watched Brighton is he's good at getting in the mix, battling and winning balls back. So if that's what he's coming to do solely, then he might be all right doing that. But from what I understand about the way Amorim plays football, he didn't even like to use a 6. So I'm just trying to understand how this guy is going to elevate the team.
I think he's got to
secure
change
the
that though. With the fact Fernandes has stayed and
Okay.
he's insisting on playing Fernandes in this pivot, whatever you call it, this midfield two. He actually needs a guy like a Baleba in there because Fernandes doesn't have the defensive quality and the defensive discipline to allow for someone, you know, a little bit more all round alongside him. Fernandes has to take on all the attacking output, and he needs someone alongside him to do all the defensive work. Because as it stands, I mean, I watched one United preseason game, the Everton game. Manuel Ugarte was utter garbage. He couldn't do anything right. If that is what we're upgrading on, because Ugarte's job is supposed to be kick shins, win ball back, pass it on. He couldn't even do that correctly. If you're getting a guy who's exceptional at that, which Baleba is, and you're putting him alongside Fernandes, it should, in theory, work better as a pivot. I still think it's not the greatest setup for a pivot because it is when you're doing 2v3, because most teams are going to play a 4-3-3 or a 4-2-3-1. So United oftentimes are going to be outnumbered in the midfield. Only having one guy in there who's a real battler means he's got a hell of a lot of work to do. But he's probably one of the best battlers in the league, so he might be able to manage it a little bit. But it's still the big problem for me is Fernandes that deep. But shoehorning Fernandes in that part of the pitch hurts United a lot in terms of transition and in terms of midfield like grit and stuff like that. So if they're insisting on that, Baleba comes in, he has to try and do two-man jobs. He might be able to, he might not. But I just think as a footballer, Baleba is very good. And if Fernandes was to move on and United bring in a more all-round midfielder, then that midfield all of a sudden is able to handle the three-man midfields. I just think right now you're going to be asking an awful lot of Baleba to do. And I feel like some fans might feel a little bit underwhelmed if he struggles at the start because he's got to do at times it'll be 1v3 in that midfield. Because even if you're looking at Fernandes there, maybe the wing backs could do it, but then you're looking at Dorgu. He's not the greatest defensively, and then Amad Diallo isn't even a wing back, so I don't know if you can trust him defensively. So Baleba's going to have to do an awful lot of work there, but he's a very good player, and I'm a little bit annoyed that United are getting because he's someone who should be who I thought that the top clubs would be really chasing.
Would you have signed him at Liverpool
Next summer? Yeah. I don't think we could have done this summer, but when we go into the market for a DM, it's him or Wharton for me.
That's why I think United are going to. I think Man United are going to risk PSR issues and try and push this through for the simple reason that even if we improve this summer and get back near Europe or look a better team where we're more attractive, I think next summer a lot of teams have already spent money on midfielders and spent a lot of cash. Like Arsenal right now, they're not going to go and buy a Baleba with what you wouldn't have thought you'd go and buy a Baleba. Chelsea is stacked in midfield. The teams in England that I'd be genuinely concerned of compete. The rest, I don't worry about Newcastle, Spurs. These guys will beat them to a player that we really want. But Arsenal, Chelsea, City, and Liverpool, for one reason or another, I just don't think they can enter this race right now financially because of what else they've spent and other players have already bought of the club. I almost look at it and think about it and think, just go and get it done. Just go and get that done now. I don't know what Have Hope's doing with that camera up. That sounded a bit dodgy. Just go and get it done now. Get it over the line. Get the player in. He's fantastic. And to your points here, I don't necessarily think we play with an out-and-out six. I think he looks at his two in a double pivot, and I think he looks at them a little bit from the perspective of they're like both eight. We've got a bit obsessed with this as football fans. We'll go, is he an 8 or is he a 6? And I'm like, why does that matter? Can Baleba do what we need him to, which is break up a lot of play? Yes. Can he progress the ball forward? Yes. Can he cover the ground? Yes. That's his main job, and I think he's one of the best in the Premier League at doing it. Is he a good goal scorer? No. But that's what we've just gone and spent £190 million on. We've just gone and spent £190 million on 3 players who should, between them, GA-wise, should be looking at 40-odd GA in the league alone between them, if not more. So do I then look at an 8 or a 6, whatever profile people want to put him in? I don't really care. I'm not looking at him and thinking, I need 10 goals a season. The only time I would is if we replace Bruno. So there's a chat that we might sell Bruno to bring in Baleba. My only concern with that is, where does that creativity from midfield come from? Are we going to get enough from our wide players? Are we going to get enough from our new 10s in terms of creativity? I think goals can be replaced because we've bought a lot of goal scorers, but we'll see. But I love this link. I think it's fantastic. I think it's absolutely fantastic.
Sorry, so where is Cunha playing?
Cunha will be the left. He'll be the left 10.
Ooh.
and Mbeumo's on the right.
Right 10.
Ooh.
So because it's
You-
basically so it's basically Sesko, Cunha, and Mbeumo as the 3.
So so you Quest, is that good?
Dangerous stuff.
Is that good or bad? That Quest, what are you saying?
That's dangerous stuff.
I just don't like thinking of Cunha on that left-hand side as being like the creative. It just don't make sense to me. To me, when I watch Cunha, like he walks, he scans, picks up the ball, then creates things from the middle. I don't get the left-hand side thing. I know for Wolves he was doing a lot of that. I get it, but I just think
So you, but to explain that to you, the way our left 10 works, he's not going to be on the left like Rashford and Garnacho used to. He'll drift out there. His role is left of centre. So he'll be in the central areas predominantly. The width is going to come from Dorgu or the fullback that we play. He will drift out there, but the way Amorim's 10s play, if you study his system, is they're relatively narrow. The width in our team comes from our fullbacks primarily. So he will be in the central areas. And what will happen though the other way with Mbeumo is he'll do a little bit of what he did with Garnacho. So we'll often invert. So Ahmad, who likes coming central, can invert as a fullback and take up those central roles. And I think you'll see Mbeumo drift out and hug the touchline somewhat. But Mbeumo is also technically gifted enough to work. If you watched the United friendly against Everton the other day, some of his one touch or some of his interplay in the build-up, I mean, we've been starved. Most of the times when you knock the ball into our forwards in the last 2 years, it bounces off their leg. You know, you go somewhere like concrete, you throw a bouncy ball and it just goes everywhere like this. That's been our striker's first touch. So I like it, man. But negative Dan, you sort of said that sounds a bit dangerous, that front three.
Sounds dangerous. I've been saying that to Dan. Me and Dan got into an argument and you was linked with Cunha, and I was saying Cunha's a top class player. He wasn't agreeing with me, but Cunha, Mbeumo, you add Fernandez into that, and then you get the unknown prospect of Sesko in there. It's dangerous. Any team comes up against that, they're going to be in problems. The only problem that Man United got, I think, is in defence and that goalkeeper situation. You sort that out, now there's a big problem. Trust me.
Donnarumma's linked.
Yeah, if that
to United?
Yeah.
No, if they get him, mate.
I said that like 2 weeks ago. That's a big signing if they get Donnarumma.
That is a big signing.
Back if you get that.
Even if you don't get Donnarumma.
That would arguably be the biggest signing of the summer if they get him.
Oh, 100%.
Definitely. Even if you don't get Donnarumma, though, just get a decent keeper. Oh, Nana cannot stay there. You can't stay there.
Lou here says, negative Dan sounding pretty positive to me.
He's positive when it comes to anyone but Arsenal.
Wait till we start talking about Arsenal.
Anyone but Arsenal.
But Lou,
but would Donnarumma be a bigger signing than Wirtz, though? Would that be a bigger signing than Wirtz?
100%. To United.
To United with Onana.
United. Donnarumma. To United.
That's the sign of the summer. Donnarumma is elite, world class. Top 3 or 4.
What about Isak then? If we got Isak over?
Nah.
No, not Isak. No. I think it's between no. Right now, the biggest signing is Wirtz. That is the biggest signing currently this summer. And Donnarumma.
I'm not getting done by the Donnarumma PR from last season. I know we had a good Champions League campaign, but I've also seen that man make clangers for a number of years now.
No, Tom.
He's better than Onana. He's better than Onana, but I'm not putting him in this category of like, he's the guy.
No. But Tom, if you look at what he did last season, he was elite. Like, no, true. Those mistakes were maybe like seasons ago, but what he did last season, bro, come on, bro.
He's a world class.
Fantastic for Italy.
Against Arsenal.
He won the Euros with Italy as well. And before that, he was at AC Milan where he was very good.
He's a world class.
Last year, he had a really good year. But
he's a world class keeper, yes or no? No.
Great question.
He had a world class season, but I don't think he's a world class.
Whoa!
No.
I have a high bar for world class.
Currently now, he's a world class keeper as of today, right now. He's a world class keeper as of today, right now.
Yes, 100%.
He is.
I think
No. It's seriously, Tom. I know those Bozo moments.
He had against Liverpool. He had a good game against Liverpool, didn't he? You're still upset, man.
No. I mean, he had a decent game. Like I said, he had a decent game in all the Champions League games. But it's for me, world class is like
from winning the Champions League.
You wouldn't anyway. You weren't beating Inter Milan if it got to that point.
Inter Milan, the same Inter Milan that lost 5-0.
Yeah, the same Inter Milan that beat you in the group stage. For me, it comes down to my bar for world class is are you a top 3 in the world in your position, and he might be
Okay,
top
so
3.
okay,
he
so
might
Tom,
not
who are
be.
the
He's
top
the one
3
on the
keepers
cusp.
now?
Hang on, Tom.
He's the one on the
That's such flawed logic, right? Saying top 3 in the world, right? And do you know why that's flawed? Because what if all 3 are nowhere near the last? Like, if you think about a decade ago, strikers. What if the current top 3 are not even as good as the previous top 10 years ago? How can the new guys be world class? I think world class.
You can only
I
be
think world class
in
has
your
to be a
generation.
skills. Yeah, and I don't think it's about that. I think world class should be an overall. I think it should be a standard. For instance, right? If you want to say you're the Beatles, if you want to say you're Elvis Presley, if you want to say you're Michael Jackson, you have got to do similarly to them. You can't say I'm the Michael Jackson of my generation, but everyone in your generation is shit. You can't do that. You've got to be the same as those guys, or you're not them, bruv.
I'm not letting one
Big up
season
MJ.
cloud my judgments on him. I think he had a good season last year, but I'm not willing to put him in the same category as like a Courtois who has done it for 4 or 5 years.
No, but and also 26, by the way.
Yeah, so he's been a number 1 for 10 years straight. AC Milan, PSG, won the Euros with Italy. Yeah,
Certified GK.
Practically won it for them. Just won 4 trophies with PSG. Got to start putting some respect on.
No, but let's but seriously, Tom isn't wrong though. Like Donnarumma has made some big mistakes.
Every goalkeeper
Name me a goalkeeper that hasn't made big mistakes.
This is what I'm saying, bro.
Name me
With
one.
a goalkeeper,
No. Okay. Put it this way: the mistakes. Wait, hold up.
Well.
The mistakes that Donnarumma has made, I've not seen Alisson or Courtois make those mistakes.
I've seen
in
Alisson
those
make
games.
mistakes. Ask Liverpool maybe here if Alisson has not made mistakes or not.
No. I'm talking about mistakes in high stakes games. In critical games, he's made huge mistakes in huge UCL games that Courtois and Alisson haven't made in the. Of course, everyone makes mistakes. I'm talking about mistakes in high stakes games. Bro, I remember the game PSG against Real Madrid when Benzema dropped a 3-piece. One of those he had the Bozo moments. Alisson and Courtois have not made Bozo moments in huge high stakes games.
If I go back to last season, I'll even go back to last season. When you beat PSG 2-0 in the group stage, the Kai Havertz goal was a horrendous error. He came out into no man's land because he was late off his line and then panicked halfway through and didn't commit. I'm not saying he's a really good.
Talking about.
I can't. Not
because Saka
free
scored
kick's not
from a
great.
free kick.
I was on about the Havertz goal, the one where it comes in and Havertz heads it over him because he's in no man's land. I think he's a good shot. He's a really good shot stopper, but I think he's got a number of mistakes in him, and I don't think he's necessarily the greatest with his feet. He's serviceable with his feet, but he's not the greatest with his feet. For me, I just don't think he's at the same level as a Courtois or an Alisson.
I still feel like that's still a big upgrade for Man United.
It's a big upgrade.
And I look at that. Look, if we ended up pulling off Donnarumma and Baleba with what we've already done, those 5 signings, 6 including young Diego Leon. Look, Liverpool are probably still in most people's minds going to win they're going to win the transfer window, as fans would say.
I was going to say win the league.
I would say that what I would say is this though. Pound for pound, with what everybody expected us to do versus what we've done, I say Man United win it. That all being said, it's all on paper and it's got to translate onto the football pitch and we have got to progress. And if we do end up pulling that off, which is a big if right now, then the expectation and the pressure on Amorim, on the players, then increases tenfold because you've then added a really solid spine. A really solid spine's been added to a team and the expectations grow, especially with 1 game a week. And I'm all here for that. You know, the transfer window was always going to dictate the level of the pressure I put upon the team this year. Because if we did have a stinker and we literally signed in Ndidi and Dominic Calvert-Lewin, why would I be sitting there going top 4, please? That would be a stupid thing to predict in reality. So let's see what we can do. Yeah, exactly. You
lot have been winning trophies over the last few years as well. On top of that, through your turmoil, do you understand? So now you got all these players, it's going to be crazy for Amorim. Let's see if he makes it for Christmas. Let's see.
So sorry, I need to answer this honestly. Do you feel, because I know that you're a man of huge conscience and huge morality, and you have a strong moral compass.
I know what you're going to ask me. Go on.
No, you actually don't. Do you feel any guilt in your heart of hearts at stealing Newcastle?
Before you say it, I'm going to write the word, then post it in the comment section, then say it.
Okay, do you feel any guilt in stealing Newcastle's players, knowing that Newcastle wanted these players and you stole these players from Newcastle? Do you have
We've all done it this summer, though. Every one of us has done it.
Absolutely.
No, but they've done the worst.
I'll be honest with you. I feel zero remorse. You know when you watch a lion rip a gazelle apart and munch on it? That's me.
Wow.
Blood on the face. Don't care. I don't care that we've done that to them at all. All's fair in love and war. I don't like how bad their board has been for them, but from my perspective, we got to eat. You know, we're not living football. It's the Wild West, brother. It's survival of the fittest. So yeah, fuck them. Fuck their PSR problems. Fuck you. I don't care.
If anyone, we should look at Chelsea. Chelsea should be the ones that were really criticising this because they're.
Hey, if you don't park that bus, brother.
No, you took the lap and Joao Pedro off them, and then you're going to shove Jackson onto them because
hold on, Tom. Nico Jackson, that's a great player. That's a great player for them. He will still have Newcastle.
Yes, he's a great player.
Do you not understand the irony in it? He wouldn't be available for the first game of the season because of the red card he picked up for you against Newcastle.
But don't.
It doesn't matter. Think long term.
We're not having. This is the Football Terrace, right? We do it properly. We're not having false propaganda out here. We're not having the word "great," which you attribute to players like Ronaldinho, put next to the word Nico Jackson. The word "great" should have a high threshold, bruv.
Terry, what are you doing, man?
Nothing about Nico Jackson is great.
What are you doing?
No, Terry. Great signing, not great. Great. No, we're not calling him R9 Ronaldo Nazario. We're just saying that he can be a great signing for Newcastle. So if we can get 75 from Newcastle, done deal.
That is the biggest. That is the biggest backhanded compliment I've ever heard in my life. It's a great deal for Newcastle, but really shit for us if he stays. Come on now.
Hold on, can I defend my club quick though? Listen, this is what you guys. We can't put Chelsea in the same conversation as the rest of you lot. Savages, wolves. All right, we're actually doing charity work this season. We saw Arsenal struggling on the left wing. We said, Madawake, go and help them man out. Yeah. Then we said, United. It's not working out with you and Garnacho. Garnacho, we can see you're struggling. You're hurting, bro. Come over to us. Yeah. And we've seen you lot want to bully Newcastle. So what we're saying is, let us give them one of our top
Wait, hold on, real quick. Are you supporting Garnacho coming towards Chelsea? You're supporting the Garnacho?
I'm not even getting into this because I did this the other day.
No, we are getting into it, and we're getting into it right now. That's literally the next talking point on the agenda.
Let me change my shades.
Have hope. That conversation. You are advancing in this deal. You've agreed. He's changed. Literally, he's gone from a night out on the town to I'm about to read a sermon in the space of a few seconds there. But
hallelujah.
You are about to go and get Garnacho. We all know Garnacho to Chelsea is happening. We don't know the price yet. Chelsea want to pay 30. We want around 50. Probably going to be in the middle. It's probably going to be a £40 million deal. You have slagged him off for years, Have Hope, and how bad he is. Have Hope. I'm going to go to Have Hope first. What do you make of your club, Chelsea, advancing for Alejandro Garnacho?
So I know for a fact that Todd Bowley and Egbali are watching this show. Football Terrace, the number one football show on the planet. So this is a direct PSA to Todd Bowley and Okay, let's ignore that. So this is a direct PSA. I'm begging you. I'm begging you. There's a reason why this guy has crooked teeth. There's a reason why he's called a nacho cheese. And there's a reason why this guy plays as if his brain was left in the 1600s. He's garbage, he's a brick, and he stinks. We are world champions and we're trying to go for the treble. We are trying to retrieve our Premier League trophy from Liverpool, who have it on loan. We're trying to retrieve our Champions League trophy from PSG, who have it on loan. And we're trying to take over world football. We can't do that with a bona fide brick in our squad. There's a reason why he's been banished by IMMINENT. Garnacho stinks. He's trash. He's horrible and does not deserve to even be... He doesn't deserve to even clean the boots. He doesn't even deserve to be in the cleaning staff of Chelsea. So again, Todd Bowley and Egbali, I know you're listening. I know you're watching. Please, there is still time to stop this deal. Please don't sign Garnacho. I'm begging you. Thank you.
Are we finished with that drivel? Let me speak about business for a second, yeah? 40 mil plus whatever. I'm doing it. And I told you guys the other day, this is a foregone conclusion in terms of how this works. If he comes in and he hits the ground running, welcome, Nacho. Come and take your place rightfully where Sancho couldn't make it, where Maduki couldn't make it, and where Jamie Gittins will be waiting to shake your hand and say, brother, let's do this together. If it don't work, we sell him on to Atletico Madrid in 2 years. We'll sell him on to whoever wants him in the Spanish league, the Greek league, Panathinaikos.
You sell him to
whoever.
Arsenal.
Yeah, we'll sell him to Arsenal. They need a left winger still. And listen, last time I was talking stats, people wanted to laugh at me. I went and did my research because it's all about the statistics. Maduki, by the way, yeah, who played a similar number of games, there's 4 games within it, scored 1 more goal than Garnacho last season and got the same amount of assists. And I said Garnacho was a better dribbler and everybody laughed in my face. Garnacho completed 724 dribbles last season. Maduki completed 593. So if you're talking about an upgrade, foregone conclusion. I said he's in the same bracket as Brennan Johnson. They laughed at me. Fair enough. Brennan Johnson scored more goals. I hear it. He scored 5 more goals, by the way, across the season, but he got the same number of assists. How many dribbles did Brennan Johnson complete? 445. Don't even let me get onto Martinelli. The bookiest, most booty juice winger we've seen in the league since. I got to work on that. Let me just tell you about the stats real quick. Yeah? 650 completed dribbles, right? 8 goals to Garnacho's 6 and 4 assists to Garnacho's 5. So don't call this player rubbish. He is a decent player with a decent ceiling. I actually want to say he's special. I'm not gonna lie, because he got the Puskas goal in the wall. You don't score that if you're trash. Yeah. So he's a decent player with a high ceiling who actually did okay last season in a team that was struggling. When you say bad, you have to contextualize it properly. And if there's no statistics to back up the trash, then just close your mouth and keep it moving, my dog. Bring me the 40 mil and run it back next season.
So can I just ask? So my friend here, I just want to just ask, are you fluent in Japanese? Because that was some extremely amazing Japanese that you just.
Where's your statistics, broski?
Oh no! I use the eye test. You can keep your stats. I use the eye test, and the eye test tells me that the guy is garbage. Being a world champion and for a team. Wait, hold up. You've yapped. Let me now give you real talk while you just listen and learn. So, if Chelsea are a team going for a treble, you don't buy a player from a team who are happy to sell him. Every United fan I've spoken to is doing cartwheels and doing the Macarena because they are getting rid of Garnacho. So how are you celebrating and bringing me these trash bomber stats from the trash bin about dribbles completed, XG, XA, XQ equals empty squared of a player that United fans are happy to get rid of? He's garbage, he's trash, he stinks. And if you respect Chelsea and you want Chelsea to be the best club in the world, how the heck are you celebrating 40 million for a bomb? How?
So to answer your question, right? I'm not a man that's moved by the opinions of others. If Man United are happy to sell, they should be happy to sell, because ultimately, as it's been explained to me very well, he's a man that's not helped the club move forward. And I understand. I would celebrate too. In the same way, when I heard Arsenal wanted to come and pay 50 M's for Madueke, I said, not only would I shake your hand, I'll bring him myself with a briefcase, cash in hand. Let's do it. Lovely. So for me, I'm not celebrating necessarily bringing Garnacho in to move our squad forward. I just understand football is about more than what is done on the pitch. It's business too. And when it comes to money, this is a decent deal. If it don't work out, we sell it on and recoup. If it don't work out, we still got Gittins. If it don't work out, we still got Pedro. If it don't work out, we still got Neto that can. When I said Pedro, I meant João Pedro. We still got Neto that can play across the. I'm not stressed because, unlike other fans, I'm not looking at this as, oh, I'm going to suffer banter if he goes 007 and did it. I'm not worried. Either he's going to come and he's going to kick on, or he's going to flop and we're going to sell him. To me, it's not a big deal. If we go and pay 50 mil plus, then okay, fine. I'm a little bit stressed. But at the end of the day, you said, why do I care about this deal? Why would I be happy? Because if I actually boil it down to the worst things about him, he's actually in a very similar category to the rest of the wingers and what they're doing in the league. So I don't really understand why I would be so pressed about all this PR about how bad of a person he is, and I don't care. Environments help players change, bro. I'm so confident he's going to come.
So real quick, would you rather save up the money and try and get Rodrigo or Leao, or you're still happy with Garnacho for foot?
You just said, why would we buy a player that they want out? Real Madrid and Alonso said,
this is interesting. This is interesting. So hold up. So you're saying that you put Garnacho and Rodrigo in the same category?
No, I'm saying you asked me if I would be happy to save up for Rodrigo, and I'm saying, why would you even say that if you just told me to be bothered about other people wanting them gone? So why?
Wait, hold up. Who told you that Real Madrid fans want Rodrigo gone?
Okay, let's not say they don't want him gone, but Alonso definitely wants him gone, right?
No, United fans want Garnacho gone because he's trash. The Real Madrid higher-ups, i.e. Perez, wants Rodrigo gone because of Messi's daddy, aka Mbappe, wanting to be on that left-hand side.
Bro.
So my thing, but my point is that wouldn't you rather save up money to try and take a bid in for a Rodrigo or for a Leao rather than wasting 40 mil on a guy who you know is going to be a bomb?
No, because also I know if I bring in Rodrigo, then Jamie Gittins is definitely finished. He's not going to come through if Rodrigo's there.
Who cares?
He's
going to win now.
You see, so you don't care about the club. Listen, things are about more than just winning tomorrow, you know. You got to think about the long-term strategy.
Okay, you want to win in 20 years' time. Okay, cool. Okay, that makes sense. That makes sense.
On this debate, though, gents, we have some breaking news to go to. Bayern Munich have made inquiries.
Oh, for fuck's sake.
Nico Jackson, in the past few hours, Bayern have gathered information on his current status, price, and conditions. Newcastle are serious. The 24-year-old versatile striker is on the verge of leaving Chelsea. Price valuation around 65 million. But it may now be that Newcastle are getting hijacked again.
How dare you?
This is mad.
They could be getting hijacked again.
This is historic. I've never seen this happen before.
Right?
This is historic.
What team has been turned down this many times?
Dan, I've never seen this before in my life. I've never seen this before in my life.
Chelsea
Never.
is what we do.
Honestly,
Business.
they've been rejected more times than Katie Price has been divorced. It's absolute. The young ones might know who that is, but yeah, that's crazy, man. That's crazy. That's crazy.
Price,
I need to ask you though, this treble that you're going for, right? You mean Club World Cup, Carabao Cup, and FA Cup?
No. It's basically we're going for the trophy that you haven't won since 2004. Have you heard of it? It's called the Premier League trophy. I don't think you've seen that since 2004. We're going for the Champions League. Wait a minute. When was the last time you were in the final for that? I think that was in 2006 where you bricked it. Yeah. We're going for that as well. And also, we're also going for the trophy you always win every year, FA Cup. So yeah, those three.
This is why I don't do this. I don't do this.
You generally think Chelsea are going for a treble?
If Chelsea get the right players, why can't the world champions win the treble? If we buy right, because we still need 2 or 3 key players. But if we just get our 2-3 players, 100 with all due disrespect, Arsenal not even in this convo for like the Premier League. You're not even in this convo. You're there to be bridesmaids.
The team that's been in the title race for the last 3 seasons. Why not?
No, Dan. I don't do title races. I do wins. Okay, Dan. Honest question.
What wins?
What wins? Honest question. Real quick. Honest question.
When was the last? When was the last proper trophy that you won?
Real quick, one honest question. If you're Liverpool, who are you more fearful of? The bridesmaids known as Arsenal or world champion Chelsea? Who do you think Liverpool are more fearful of next season?
That they're more fearful of Arsenal.
That's a lie. You know it's a lie. You know that is a lie.
Ask the Liverpool fan. Who's he?
Ask him.
Well, who am I more scared of, Arsenal or Chelsea?
Next season. And then some. Be truthful.
Be truthful.
I'm more scared of Man City than either of you.
I was about to say Man City. You know?
If I had to pick one of you two, it would probably be Arsenal, just because I don't rate Chelsea's defense.
There you go.
You don't rate what? Wait, what?
I don't rate.
Yeah. Chelsea
so
are outsiders.
I'm looking with Chelsea's defense.
Arsenal are more favourites than Man City for a reason. Let's be real here, guys.
Based on what?
Let's be sensible. Based
that's
based on the fact that we've got 89 points the season before last, 84 points the season before that.
And what are those points amount to? They didn't amount to anything. They amounted to cobwebs.
Always the bride,
but where have you not been finishing?
I just want to say
you've been finishing outside the top 4.
No.
You've been playing in the conference.
I don't.
league.
I don't.
We're
think
here.
you'll
No,
go-
no,
I
so
don't
we're
think
here.
you'll go
No, Dan. We speak a language known called trophy. We speak fluent trophy. You've not spoken that for a long freaking
The
time.
last,
So
the last time,
you
the
can't.
last, the last proper trophy you won was the Champions League 2021. How many
No.
of them players
We
are
just
even in
won
that
the
team
World
now?
Cup, Club World Cup.
How
Dan,
many
you've
players?
not won a serious trophy since 04. You don't have the facilities for this conversation. You simply don't. You don't have the facilities for this
No,
conversation.
you don't, because you ain't been in the race. You ain't been nowhere. You've
No.
been playing in the Conference League. That's embarrassing.
Dan,
You can't.
what's
boast
the
about
point
winning
in
the
being in a race
Conference
that you
League.
always lose?
You're
How
boasting
can you
about
rep
winning
being
the
in a race
Conference
that you
League.
always
You was
lose?
in the
That makes
Club
no
World Cup.
sense.
You was in the Club World Cup for a trophy you won 4 years ago, some made-up tournament that no one was even watching. Your own fans weren't even there. No one cared about it, and you won the Conference Cup. That's embarrassing to even be in it.
But just
Our reserves would win that.
Dan,
Yeah?
Dan, there's a
We've
reason
been
why
like-
you're a little
Arsenal,
bit.
now we're doing
we've
too
been
much.
smoking you guys, yeah? Beating you lot 5-0. Kai Havertz dunking on you lot. So let's
Wait.
be real.
And where were the trophies at the
Guys,
end? No,
guys,
Dan,
guys,
where were the
guys,
trophies?
Guys, let me jump in. Sorry, I didn't really hear what you were saying. Can we let Dan finish what he's saying, then jump in? So finish what you were saying, Dan, because I couldn't hear you.
I'm saying, look, these lot are trying to go on about Chelsea are going for trebles. They need to pipe down a bit. Chelsea have been nowhere. They were lucky to even get top 4. Arsenal, we've been there. We're there right now. We're the team competing. We're the team pushing Man City, pushing Liverpool, and it will be the same teams again. Chelsea are not going to be there, right? You keep talking about trophies. The last notable trophy you won was 2021, right? Champions League. How many players do you even have of that team left? Reece James is the only one I can really think of. Yeah, you're not going to be you're not going to be nowhere near Arsenal this season. Arsenal, there's a reason with the bookies, right? Why Liverpool are just about more favourites than Arsenal. Then it's Arsenal, then it's City. Then you lot come in probably next at about 20-1.
Can I respond to that? Can I respond?
I'll just say a quick thing. This is why me and Dan argue, innit? Because I'm not a man that's going to be coming and arguing with Chelsea fans after they've just won the Club World Cup. And whatever you want to call that. Yeah, I'm not a man that's going to come in there and argue with you lot. Do you understand? Yeah, you have to remain a bit calm. Do you understand? Because, like I said, they've got trophies.
No, because see, Dan, at the end of the day, what are we here for? We are here for trophies. That is what we're here for. We're not here to compete. We're not here to be in a race. We're not here to just try and put pressure. We're here for trophies.
You have to be in a race to win.
No. But at the end of the day, you've not won. What you have to show me evidence of the work that you've done and the fact of that you've been in the race and you've lost. And those 2 seasons when City won, you should have really won. You should have really won. And the fact that Arteta, who should have already been sacked, is still here after screwing over 2 title races that he should have won, that's down to you. But at the end of the day, you can say a trophy. We still wasted. The Club World Cup is still a trophy. And even if you want to use 2021, that is still far more recently than the last major trophy you won, which was in freaking 2004. And I'm sorry.
Exactly. That's why Arteta's done such a good job. You lot have always been winning for years. We've not won since 2004. So can't you understand that Arteta, we're not the Arsenal of old. You lot have always been winning, right? So obviously you might say that Arteta should be sacked.
Dan, that is a no, Dan. With all due respect, Dan. With all due respect, that sounds like losers talk. I'm telling you why that sounds like losers talk. When you look at those 2 seasons, when you almost won, when you were top like around Christmas, when say like 98% of the time, teams with that points total as Christmas normally win, you messed up. You can't say, oh well, no, you should have won and you messed up. And if you were real about it, Arteta should have already been sacked. But he always comes up with excuses. And the issue now, Dan, you now face is that next season, who knows what United are going to do? I still don't think they'll stop because you have to strike when the iron is hot. Chelsea are back. City are back. Who knows what United could do? Arsenal's time may be done. So you assuming that Arsenal will now come second again on the title race. Never assume in football.
I'm not saying we'll come second.
This is exactly what you said.
I'm saying
I've had this argument
we'll be
with
better
Dan
than
so
Chelsea.
many times. I've had this argument. I said the other day we're in a top 4 race. That's what I believe. And Chelsea might finish in front of us. And with Arteta, I want him gone. I'm not saying he ain't done a good job. He's done a good job. He's got us to a certain level. Yeah, he can't get us over the finish line. This is the bottom line. He can't get us over the finish line. In no other team, Chelsea, Man United, Liverpool, Tottenham, he wouldn't have survived. He would have been gone by now. But he's still there. And this season, like he said, I said to you as well, Dan, these other teams have now got better. They've got better now. It's not going to be as easy as last season and the season before when these teams were in turmoil. Everyone's got better now. Yeah, I hope and pray Arteta does get over the line this season. I can't see it happening. Yeah, I can't see it happening.
Man City have got better. Man City have not got better. Man City are the best team in Premier League history that won the league 4 times in a row. They've not got better now. Yeah?
I'm saying they've made good. They've made a couple of signings.
They've made great signings.
What are you talking
I
about?
don't care if they made great signings. They've not got better. They've not got better than what they were, than what we were going up against.
We can't say they haven't got
Liverpool
better.
know what I'm talking about. Yeah, we went up against Man City, the best team in Premier League history that won it 4 years in a row, right?
Yeah, but
so Chelsea, what was you lot doing then? What was you lot doing?
What happened 3 years ago actually isn't really that relevant now. City have improved from what they were last year.
Yeah,
so they'll be back in this race again.
Last year, possibly because of the 2 players, they might have.
No, it's definitely.
Yeah, Reinders, Cherky.
They've lost Kevin De Bruyne.
Who cares? He was old. He was washed.
They've got Rodri back. They've got Rodri back. They've added Reinders.
Yeah,
they've added Cherky.
That's the main one. That's the main thing. Getting Rodri back.
Okay, so you're saying that. Okay, so you're saying that De Bruyne at his age could still do a job for Man City.
He's still if they kept player. He could still be a key player for them. Of course.
Dan, stop it. Come on, Dan. Come on.
Why could he not be a key player?
Because he's old. Hence why you could see that he's old. He doesn't have the legs anymore. And it happens. It's called biology. Everyone gets old. He's washed. That's why he's in that washed up league known as the Serie A. Where people go to.
Every year they've been losing key players, right?
Don't let City finish above you, bro. That's what I'm saying. Man.
We can't say. All I'm saying, you can't say City have not improved, Dan. First of all, they have not kicked.
But this whole thing that Arsenal ain't going to be in the title race is crazy talk. Or Arsenal
are
like Chelsea are going to be better than Arsenal. It's crazy talk.
That's just my opinion.
Only Liverpool fan can tell me anything. That's it. No Chelsea fan can say nothing.
No, but Dan, the dangerous thing though is that you're just having an assumption. And the assumption you're having is because Arsenal have always been in the title race, that they're just going to continue to be in the title race. And you're ignoring the fact of Pep may have looked at one of the worst seasons he's ever had and will now come back. You cannot sleep on what Pep and Man City can do because his record speaks for itself. You can't sleep on a Chelsea team who are getting better, improving, and have had a very good summer. You cannot sleep on what Chelsea and City can do, which is improve upon what they were last season. But you're just assuming that no Chelsea, City. You can't do that.
That's why I want all these teams to fail.
I want Arsenal with all the injuries in the world. With the most injuries we've probably ever had, any team's ever had in Premier League history, and we were still better than you lot. So if we keep the majority of our players fit, we're going to probably finish about 15 points above you, minimum.
With no trophy.
Can I ask you a question? Let's forget the trophy talk for a second. Do you think have hope? Let's just get to the crux of these points. He reckons they're going to finish around 15 points ahead of you. Do you agree with that? Disagree? Do you think Chelsea will finish above? Do you think you're a better team than Arsenal now?
I still think we need like 2 more signings. I personally, for me, I want that Spanish Grove known as Rob Sanchez out of this club because that guy, he's a trash keeper. So give me a quality central defender. Give me a quality keeper. 1 or 2 in the midfield, then we can say something. But 15 points is insanity. Even if Chelsea don't buy any more players, there is no way in hell Arsenal finishing 15 points out of Chelsea. That's not happening. No way. Impossible.
And what about title charges, which I know a lot of Chelsea fans will say, I don't care about Arsenal, I care about the title charge. Are you confident now? Because you are getting 2 more players. You're bringing in Xavi and you are bringing in Garnacho.
That's already landed. Garnacho's not confirmed, but continue.
He's coming in. And Hato's in. Is that enough for you guys now? Because you're world champions. You're talking about fluent in trophy, fluent in CL.
Yes.
Your opinion, have hope. Are you actually now, after all the money that's been invested, and as much as Liverpool have had a summer where they've spent a lot, I think you guys are actually ahead of them in money spent again this summer. You must be confident of a title race with how much you're talking here.
You think they're going to win a triple?
Oh, no, wait, hold up. First of all, pocket watching is wrong, and you should never pocket watch. Never count another man's pocket. I think that's unfair. That's the first thing. Second thing is, Terry, let's see what the season brings. I don't want to jinx things. I don't want to say too much. But all I'm saying, though, is that win against PSG and the way that we completely dismembered and sacrificed PSG, I think the team has extreme confidence. And I'm very excited about Simmons. Garnacho, trash. But I'm actually very excited about Simmons. So I just think that Palmer, I believe, is going to take his football to the next level. Caicedo might be one of the best midfielders in the world. So talk to me first 5 games. Let's just see those first 5 games and then let's review. So I just want to see what the team looks like in those first 5 games. And I think what is very key, it's not how we play against the top 5 teams, it's how we play against the low blocks, the teams that are sitting deep, and whether we can break those guys down.
So this is the thing, right? A lot of what you said makes sense. Why have you not got that same energy for other teams? So you're saying, I'm not making a big, bold prediction about Chelsea. I'm going to wait until I've seen the team play, till the players are in, till we're settled. You're sort of inferring that Arsenal's time of potentially winning is over, but you're not prepared to give them 3 or 4 games into this season to see how the new players fit, to see who else they sign, because they're linked to more players. That's the only time I challenge it. And it'll get called Arsenal glazing by the low IQs and the trolls. But how can you say, I'm going to give my team 3, 4, 5 games into the season for everybody to gel before I put any pressure on them or make a prediction, but you're not doing that for other teams? That's the only... You're allowed your own opinion, and I'm not challenging your opinion. I'm challenging your clear double standard in your assessments.
Okay. I'll give you this. If Gyökeres, which I do think is a good signing, I think that is a great signing from Lilbro. So if Lilbro's key signing of Gyökeres actually balls out, then I think Arsenal have a chance to actually win the league. But the reason why I say this is that I've sort of seen this before. So this is like, you have to strike when the iron is hot. I feel Arsenal's time were those 2 seasons. And I feel because they failed to win the league in those 2 seasons, when Chelsea were an abomination, you're looking at United were trash. So it was fertile ground for Arsenal to win the league. I think when you're looking at it now, City have bought very well. They've bought really, really well. I think Chelsea, that club Walker win is just going to make Chelsea a lot bolder. So when I just look at the status of things now, look at Arsenal's team, I just feel Arsenal's time may have gone. But the biggest thing for me is Arteta. I just don't think Arteta is the guy. I think Arteta is the guy, but before the guy, I just don't think Arteta just has that's the kind of managerial fortitude to just get the team over the line, and that's just
look,
the stumbling block.
Liverpool and City were racking up all these high 90s points, right? So it was more difficult to win the league then. It's actually probably easier to win the league now, because now, what did Liverpool win the league? What did you win the league on? 84 points, was it?
Something like that, yeah.
84 points, I think it was, right? So now you only have to get to like 85, 86 points to win the league, right? Arsenal, the season before, got 89 and 84. So I think if you get to 85, 86 points, you win the league. There's a big chance you win the league. Whereas when we were going for the title, them 2 seasons, City finished on 89 and 91 points. And when
the problem there, though, with that argument is last season Liverpool finished on 85 points because they actually didn't really give a shit for the last 2 months because no one was going to catch them. We were on course based on the form that we'd had throughout the majority of the season to finish on mid to high 90s again. And that partly comes down to the fact that the competition last year wasn't there. Arsenal fell off. City fell off. There was no one there to keep pushing Liverpool there. Next year, I'm not ruling Arsenal out, but next year I'm expecting there to be a 2-horse race. That in turn pushes the points total up because both teams up their game
have to win
with the pressure. Therefore, the only team that I've seen get high 90s points when there was no title race at any point in the year was City Centurions. And they finished 19 points ahead of whoever. Every other one, there was at least some jeopardy going into the final.
You lot done it.
I know, yeah. So
COVID year.
So 2 and 3 years. In a 3-year period, there was 2. And in between, that was arguably the greatest title race in recent years in terms of quality, where one team got 97, one team got 98. Yeah. Outside of that, it's very rare that a team can just sort of go, no pressure, no worries, whatever. We'll just chuck together 90, 95 points, 96 points.
No point.
You kind of need the other team in the background to keep pushing on. Even when we done it, we were doing it. Yes, City weren't there that year, but we were doing it on the basis of the year before we done 97 and it wasn't enough. So we got to go even further now and do it again and again.
You had the League One that year, right? But you still went and got 90 odd points. So, whether you would have done it this year or not, no one knows.
What's that?
My thing is
on the plane.
My thing with it is I just look at I don't think that the point total is going to be dropping down so you only need 80 to win the league. I think that
not 80, I'm saying 86, 87.
I don't think it's even that low though.
You can't tell.
The gap in quality. The gap in quality between the top teams and the rest of the league is just growing bigger and bigger. So teams now are getting higher points as an average go of it. Therefore, if they're in title races, if the pressure's on every game and the quality goes up, the point totals are going to be higher. If there's 3-4 teams in it, I could see 3-4 teams getting 90 points. That's highly unlikely that 4 teams are there. But I could see 4 teams, if they're all there taking it to the end of the season, it'll be like 90, 92, 93, something like that. I expect it to be another high season for points total. I expect it to be high for the next couple of years because it's such a big gap now between the top 6 teams and the rest of the league that the points total will start to showcase that. You'll get the occasional 1 or 2 that can push for a Champions League spot when one has a down year, but on the basis that all our teams here are on it next year, and we had seasons that me. All our teams on it. It's going to be another high 90s points again because
Tom,
pressure breeds competitiveness and breeds higher quality.
I actually disagree. I don't think the gap is that big between the top 6 and the other teams. I actually feel though that teams are actually getting better because of there's a lot more money that can be spent amongst the teams. So again, going back to the whole point thing that you can't say that, oh no, 85 will be enough. It depends. It depends on the status of the title race. Because if you're pushing a team, then that team is going to push to try and get those high number of points. But if a team is not being pushed and like, oh, we've already won the league, then we're not going to be as intense going in. So you can't say in a vacuum that, oh no, 85 points will be enough to win a league. It depends on how the title race is.
That's all true. I look at it this way. The only thing I disagree with you on, Dan, is I actually think it makes it harder to win the league if 85 points wins it for you. Because I think that typically means there's more than 1 or 2 very good sides. So when Arsenal when Liverpool and City were getting mid to high 90 points, there's 2 factors in there. One, think about how good everybody else was back then. United, Arsenal, Chelsea, and others. We were shocking by all of our standards. We were all shocking.
Right.
Secondly, there was this thing of chasing the 100-point mark, and then everybody wanted to echo it. If we go back to when we were all younger, and I know like the 2, like most of us here, barring I reckon Quest and I know how old Tom is. I reckon Quest is quite young, probably in like mid-20s still. Oh, you're 30. Okay, so you're in and around that era. When our teams used to win league titles, Arsenal, Man United, and Chelsea. When we were winning it early enough in the season where we could have got 100 points or high 90s, and we were winning it in Aprils, we did what Liverpool did last year, which was everybody just went on the piss and stopped trying to win those remaining games. So that's why I've never used points totals as this barometer. And I always think the media have been very disingenuous and have lied to a generation of football fans and indoctrinated older ones where they go, that team got 95 points. They're the greatest Premier League team ever. No, when like Man United won some league titles at a canter, Arsenal won some comfortably, Chelsea definitely won some comfortably. Once that league title got won, there was not this need to push for 100 points. Like that Chelsea, Jose's Chelsea team that's at that goals conceded record, you could have pushed on and got so many more points the back ends of both those seasons, but you just didn't because no one cared. If you won the league on 65 points and the next year somebody won on 85 points, there was not a debate in any school, any workplace, on any television show, any radio station going, well, which of the 2 teams is better? No one based it on the points totals ever because we understood back then that the context of each season changed the points total. So if this year Arsenal are in the title race, Chelsea are in the title race, Liverpool in the title race, City are in the title race, if Man United and Spurs are much improved and Newcastle and Villa are as good as they were, probability-wise, the top teams are going to get less points than if you just had City and Arsenal were the best 2 teams in the league, but were clear of everybody else, and everybody else was also quite poor and inconsistent. So the points totals are higher. So I don't necessarily think the amount of points you get dictates how hard it was to achieve. I think winning a 3 or 4 or 5 horse race when it's really close, I think it's much harder because you're getting punched at from all different angles. They're just a 2 horse race.
Terry, man, trust me, Terry, you need to experience it when you're going like Liverpool fans and Arsenal fans will know. When you experience City just winning every single week, when you can't lose or draw a game. We had that game against Aston Villa. So
I get that.
We lost at Emirates.
I get the pressure. Hang on. But I get the pressure element, Dan. I get the pressure element. I get that when it's you 2 and you're out there in front, we've got to win because they're always winning. But I'm talking about the hardness of it. teams even 10 years ago, back in that period, 04 to about 2013, which I think is the peak of the Premier League era, you weren't able to win that many games because so many other teams were of a higher standard. So therefore, I think it's harder to win the league because I think winning games in general was harder to do. So there were so many more teams that could beat you. Last season was more like what I call old school Premier League. The problem that is that the better teams were just not quite good enough. In the end, it was quite easy for Liverpool to win that league title. And if they hadn't gone on the piss, they could have got 96, 97 points. But that wasn't a reflection. So you had loads of teams that could beat each other, which was great, but you only had one outstanding team. Where I think it's harder to win the league is if loads of teams can beat each other, but there's 4 or 5 teams that are at Liverpool standard from last year. That winning a league in that environment, and we witnessed that in England between 04 and 05, where every year, and us older heads will remember this, there was at least 3, if not 4 teams every year that were genuinely capable of winning the league. We haven't witnessed that since 2013, maybe even earlier than that. For me,
basically, for context, and I'm sure Terry and United fans will like this. I rate United's treble win in 98-99 over City's treble win. Because people say, what? United only got 79 points, but you have to use context. So they got 79 points. Only one more point. And you have to place into the fact of how good Arsenal were. Arsenal taking them to the very last game of the season. United's and how tough that FA Cup semi-final was against Arsenal, and how hard United's Champions League run was.
You're giving me PTSD, man.
So basically, so you have to use context. But you can just say, oh, because it got 79 points, a lot less, it was team. If you look at the context of that season, it is extremely impressive when you just look at how tough the Premier League was back then and how tough their run was in the Champions League. So,
yeah, and that's the point that I've been making to Dan, is that Arteta doing so well, as he puts it, and finishing second, because of how poor the rest of the league has been, it's been covering over the cracks. This is why he's been able to do that 3 seasons back.
Just stop talking, man.
That's the truth. That's the truth.
The
rest of the league has been so poor. This is why, and I've said this season, that's why we're going to fall off, because the teams have got better now, and we're going back to what Terry was talking about. Better quality teams, better quality football. It's not going to be as easy this season. All right.
That's just like saying to a Liverpool fan now, like just saying to them, "Oh, you only won the league because the other teams weren't."
Wait, hold on, quickly, Dan.
I hate that when people say that, because then what's the point of even doing this? Because then you're going to win.
Hold on, Dan. One question, Dan. Quick question.
You're going to just say, "Oh, it's because the other teams were shit." Nah, man, it's because.
Hold on, quick question. Dan, quick question. If Arsenal comes second by 1 point, and do you still keep Arteta? So he goes to the last day of the season and they come second by 1 point. Do you still keep Arteta?
Yeah,
he does.
Wow.
He does. We had this conversation. You know what's so funny about what you said? Me and him was having an argument. He said, "Listen, Dan, we've got to put into context. If we go for the whole league and we finish 1 point behind Man City, then no, we shouldn't get rid of Arteta."
Why would you sack a man who's just finished 1 point?
Because he can't get over the line. It doesn't matter. Point. He can't get over the line now.
If we were at 5 points
that's
off,
going to hurt even more.
If we're at 5, okay, sorry. So because it's 1, okay. So
1 point.
What's the difference between losing by 1 and losing by 5? What's the difference?
It's a big difference. Of course, it's a big difference. It's a big difference.
No, but can I just say this?
The problem is, it's just the consistently.
Yeah.
It'd be the 4th season in a row.
Kept finishing by 1 point off. He won
No, we didn't.
title with 9 years.
He finished 1 point behind, and the next year he won the league.
Yes, he won the league.
And then what? And then he finished a point behind. You finished a point behind or 2 points behind.
No, don't do that. He won the league.
Our timeline was we finished second and won the Champions League next by a point. Won the league the next year. Injuries fucked up the year after that. We finished there. Then the year after that, got to the final of the Champions League, lost out by a point, won the 2 domestic cups, and then he called it quits. So, but at the end of the day, it's a case of Jurgen Klopp needed one. He finished second by a point once, and then the next year got over the line. And after that, he only finished second by a point one other time. Outside of that, what we're talking about Arteta here. If he does it again this year, we're talking 4 times in a row he's finished second.
Always the bridesmaid, never the
At
bride.
what point do you pull the plug on it?
But seriously, but you know the scary thing that there are lots of Arsenal fans up in Holloway Road who would still keep Arteta if he finished
Definitely.
second again. That is the scary thing.
Hey, I understand why the club would keep him, because at the end of the day, to be fair, if he
yes.
keeps getting Champions League football and I hear it, they're building, like you said, Dan
He's
said,
a
they're
safe
building a
option.
foundation. He's a
He's
safe option, but it is true that it's like they're the girl you date before you meet your wife.
Yeah, and even
It's
the most
actually
passionate,
peak.
the most passionate Arteta in fans that I know, including Danny, said if Arteta doesn't win nothing this season, he comes second. Let's say he finishes 10 points off the top, then he's got a goal. But come the end of the season, if that happens, I guarantee you these guys will find more excuses for him. This player got injured. We got robbed in that game. This is what they're going to be coming out with.
Look, there are times where that needs to be said. There are times where you've got to criticize. The balance needs to be there on Arsenal, because we've kind of segued into them. We let the Chelsea fans off the hook a little bit there, but you guys obviously need more players.
100%.
Left-sided attacker. And a 10 is what Graham Bailey has stated that you guys are looking for in terms of the remainder of the window. Lookman is now being linked to the club because Inter haven't been able to do it. But who do you want? I'm going to go to a negative Dan to begin with. You know, do you think is Eze going to be this game changer you need? Do you think the deal's going to happen? Like, how do you see Berta and Arteta addressing these last 3 weeks?
The Eze deal really excites me. Yeah, now it doesn't excite me for him to be on the left wing. Is he going to be better than Martinelli on the left wing? He has to be. Yeah, because Martinelli's dog shit, let's be honest. But yeah, for me, Eze, with a lot of the teams when they play against us with the low block, he's a man that can break the lines. Yeah, he's a man that will shoot outside the box. If Odegaard continues with this bad form, he can then come in for Odegaard. So for me, Eze, that'll be a great sign. It really excites me. And then we also need a left winger. I don't think you just get Eze and just forget about your left winger, because I don't think Eze is a left winger. Of course, he can play there, but I still think we need a left winger. At this moment in time, Rodrigo's not looking like it's going to happen, but there must be a player out there better than Martinelli. We cannot rely on Mr. Headless Chicken running to brick walls no more. It's not good enough. That's how I feel about it. So we definitely need more signings, 100%. And if
I think Lookman would be good.
Lookman would be great.
Lookman
and that's about 50 mil. That's about 50 mil. He'd be great.
That'll be a great signing. I don't want to see Madueke on the left-hand side. We saw that in the pre-season friendly the other day. I think this is where Arteta's going in his head. Madueke can play on the left. I don't want to see that. If we can get Lookman, top sign, we get a Lookman and an Eze, now we're talking business. I might be a little bit more positive. I might be talking about we might be able to do it here.
Wait. Okay, Dan, can you just give me the logic? Because again, I'm not here to try and make fun. What was the logic of getting Madueke? What was Arteta's logic of getting him?
There was no. I can't understand the logic there. I think the logic is what most people are saying is it's a backup for Saka. But then you say it's backup for Saka. Is he better than Nwaneri for a backup for Saka? Is he better than Dowman we've got there? I'm not too sure, because he's played him in the game in the preseason. Where did you see him play? Left wing. Is this his master plan? Nobody knows.
I find the Madueke signing hilarious, because if you buy Madueke to play on the left, that means you're asking him to run down the line and cross it in. If that's what you ask him to do, why have you bought the striker who doesn't head the ball then? Because Joker has loads of goals, but he doesn't do them with his head.
It makes no sense at all.
It makes no sense.
The left wing thing is not crazy though. I don't think the left wing thing is crazy, because Tuchel's doing that experiment with him on the left, and I've seen him play like 2 or 3 games for the under-21s at England level playing on the left. So I understand from a tactical point of view why Arteta's doing that, and I also understand if you've got a like Prem experienced player who's English, you can probably do the English homegrown thing. Like they've just put some form forward that means he can register as like homegrown for Arsenal. All of these things from that point of view, they make sense. But I also agree that like if you're trying to upgrade on Martinelli, it's probably incremental upgrade rather than a seismic shift. If
Definitely. It's still an upgrade though. That's positive. I'm saying positive. We see Madueke on the left, it's got to be better than Martinelli. I don't want to see it. It's got to be better than him.
Do you think Martinelli is in some way a victim of Arteta's stubbornness though?
Yeah, he's a victim of the system that he plays as well. Martinelli's a victim as well. Because I was saying it to Dan the other day. You see the work that Martinelli puts in throughout a game, defensive work.
Unbelievable.
Second to none.
Yeah. 100%.
Second to none going back. But when he's going forward now, number one, he's been working like a dog. So now he's tired. Yeah. Then there's no one overlapping for him. And then we're a lopsided team because we're always playing on the right. Odegaard's always on the right. So you ain't got that creative player linking up with him as well. So that I do feel sorry for him. But in the same breath, you've got to be better at your game. Yeah. You can't keep playing with your head down.
I'm not. But do you know what's so scary? When we're teenagers, that is what gets coached out of us, playing with your head down. The fact that a professional player plays with his head down in the Premier League is insanity. That is insanity.
But do you know what? I think it used to work. Like, I still remember, Chelsea at the Bridge against Arsenal. I think it was like 2020 or 2021. And like on the counter, Emil Smith-Rowe and Martinelli made us hold 3 goals, and it was peak. I remember we suffered that day, and I remember looking at Martinelli thinking, this guy's a problem. But then that was counter-attacking direct football. I look at this system now, and I'm going, the way Arteta's playing is killing a lot of these players, because you can't do this repetitive push the ball up, hold it, bring it back, then try and find. You can't do that game after game after game after game and continue to be creative. Nah, he's not
a man that's going to beat 2 players. You give him space to run into, knock it past the man and run past him. That's Martinelli's game.
Yeah, I also think you want to get Martinelli facing towards goal, not standing on the touchline trying to be this Jack Grealish type who stands out there, fannies about with it, passes it back. Because like Lewis Skelly, really good player, but him going inside means Martinelli has to go outside. Martinelli out on the wing is pointless. And both of your left wingers, if I look at your left wingers now, I know that you're going to try and bring one in, but if I'm looking at Trossard and Martinelli, they're inside forwards, the guys who want to be making that diagonal run into the box to finish chances. And the way the rest of your side is built, you need a winger who's going to stand out on the touchline, hold width, beat a man, link up with a fullback and put a cross in.
I think you might have put a setting on your phone where... Sorry, one sec. You guys continue. I'm sending Gonner Dan a voice note.
But I just think with Martinelli, if Arteta was able to change the system, if he had a left back that was really good at attacking and holding width, I think you'd see a bit of a return for Martinelli. I harp on about this, and Arsenal fans get on at me. Granit Xhaka done a lot of work out wide in that last season, which allowed Martinelli to sit inside. That's why he got 15 goals. Because he was allowed to play as this inside forward. Now that Xhaka isn't there, Rice plays in that position. Rice is really good at running up and down, but Rice doesn't want to drift into the wide areas. And he can't do because he's not left-footed. I think that's a big thing. Xhaka being left-footed meant he was quite comfortable in that area.
That was a good link
on a strong foot to play what he wants to do. Rice isn't that. It's not a knock against Rice, but Rice isn't that, and Martinelli's game has suffered because of that.
Yeah, but this is the thing. This is where like sentimentality has got to go. And I get why there are some Gooners that are sentimental about these players, because this is the group of players that took you out of like the absolute mud, being a laughing stock, being banter FC. And when players do that for you, there is an affinity with them. And you're not winning trophies and you're not really competing for the major trophies. So what you become addicted to as fans is the player. You love the player, or sometimes more than the club, because Martinelli getting praise, Saka getting praise, Odegaard getting praise from the media, that's about as good as it gets for teams when you're struggling. United have gone through the same thing. It's why we turn it into Player FC. I'm a Martial fan, I'm a Rashford fan, I'm a McTominay fan, or whatever it may be, because you're not actually focusing sometimes on the most important thing is what's best for the club. And you are trying to change how you play. And I was watching Gyökeres. I only watched the first 35 minutes of the game, and then the Baleba news broke. So I was going to do a match reaction to it last night. But I watched the game back, the second half back. I didn't watch the end of the first half. And I was watching Gyökeres, and I think the criticism of him is over the top. I don't think he's a bad player, but this is the pressure that happens when you come with that fanfare. You come with the record shirt sales and all of this. Rival fans are gunning for you, excuse the pun. And the system has got to change slightly, I think, to make it work. The balls have got to come earlier. And you think about Rodrigo, you definitely think about players like Lookman, that directness they've got, and then the creativity that comes with somebody like an Eze. You need to go and do that now. And
100%.
And things evolve throughout the course of the summer. You know, I think one of the reasons that Ineos have stepped up their game is because they're looking what everybody else is doing and saying, hang on a minute, we're improving, but they're pulling even further away. If you look at the quality, we've got to do something. We can't rest on our laurels here because, yes, at the end of the day, you might take 3 steps forward, but if all your opponents take 5 steps forward, You've actually gone backwards. And I think Arsenal need to be really serious about that. The last 2 preseason games, I don't think dictate exactly what's going to happen in your season. And I do think Arsenal fans should remain patient with it. That being said, I'd be a liar to sit there and go there weren't concerns. And the one thing
serious concerns, Terry, serious concerns.
There should be, and there seems to be, and again, it's one of 2 things. There seems to be one of 3 things, and maybe they overlap. Is there seems to be a lack of cohesion, and when I look at that cohesion, it's the players haven't settled together yet, and/or you need additional. 2, it could just be that one of the things that I think plays a part is that not once yet in preseason has he picked your proper 11. So I thought yesterday he would do it, but yet you still had Odegaard.
You understand that?
Zubimendi. Yeah, no, I thought
it.
Yeah, I thought by now he might have done it. Maybe he'll do that for you guys this forthcoming Saturday as an example. I think maybe he'll do it this forthcoming Saturday. That all being said, the other thing that could be genuine here, and again, this is only a food for thought at this stage. Maybe it isn't about disrespecting Arteta by the players. Maybe you're getting to that threshold and that point where the players will soon need a new voice. Win, lose, or draw trophies. Jurgen Klopp went through this. The energy goes a bit. The players maybe don't listen. Maybe there's a little bit gone. There's a reason why people wrote off that squad for slot, because they just assumed that it was nowhere near winning the league because the squad weren't good enough. Actually, I think it was a combination of the players, the manager, a bit of exhaustion, needing a new voice, a change being as good as a rest. That in the last 2 matches, I wouldn't make a conclusion on that right now with Arsenal. And sometimes 2 new players can change that. But I was sitting there thinking, he's going into, by the end of the season, he's 5.5, 6 years in. How long do managers really last at football clubs? Whether you're losing, whether you're winning, that has to be a consideration. And I think it should be part of the thought process here. That all being said, it's 2 preseason games. The previous 2 before that, I thought Arsenal looked quite good. Yeah, no, exactly. And it's about being open-minded. Sorry, go on, Dan.
So what's concerning for me, Terry, is like you said, we've got Gyökeres now. So you now have to adjust your gameplay to suit your striker. Yeah? What does Arteta tell them to do? Let's cross loads of balls in. The guy's not good at heading. Yeah? This is what we're seeing. You said that Arteta's got us out of the mud. Yeah, he did get us out of the mud. And I've said this before. He's got us out of the mud onto the grass. I don't think he can get us over that hill. It's not going to happen. That's what I believe. Due to his tactics, his management, we'll see what happens. Hopefully on the weekend, we can see our full team together to see where we're at. But going into that first game into the season against Man United, I wasn't 100% confident before the signings. I'm still not confident. I'm not saying we're going to lose. I don't know if we're going to win. If you speak to positive Dan, we're rocking up to Old Trafford and we're 3-point collecting. That's what he's going to tell you.
Wait, hold on, Dan, real quick. Do you think, because you just said something interesting, do you think Arteta wanted Gyökeres?
I don't think so. We also had this conversation as well. I don't think that's an Arteta signing. He's been chasing Sesko for the last 2 years. Sesko was Arteta's signing, and that's why a lot of Arsenal fans were backing Sesko because they knew that's who Arteta had won. And Dan did make a valid point that maybe Sesko does suit our play a bit better. The crosses in the box. Maybe he does, but I don't think it was his signing. Arteta likes yes men. Yeah, Gyökeres don't strike me as that. Yeah, all that rebelling, not going to training. I don't think Arteta likes that type of guy. We saw what he done to Aubameyang. So
yeah, I was going to say Aubameyang. What did he do to Aubameyang?
I don't think Gyökeres was really an Arteta signing. I think he obviously had the conversation he wants him, but I think he would have preferred Sesko if I'm being honest. But due to the demands of the money they was asking for on the deal, that's why we left that deal alone, basically. But I don't think it was personally.
But, I mean, because you have a dilemma here. Because Gyökeres and Sesko, Gyökeres is the better striker. Now, even if Sesko does better and scores more, if you're going to ask me right now, August 2nd, who's the better striker? It's Gyökeres, because what he's done has just been far better, especially in the Champions League. But you have to, because why is it a weird dilemma is because you have to get a player that a manager wants. But when I heard that Arteta, this is a key season for you, make or break, and you're going for Sesko, I was like, you're not serious. First of all, you get Madueke, and now you're going for Sesko. I'm sorry, you're not serious. Gyökeres makes much more sense. But if you're not telling me that you're getting guys to cross the ball for a guy who, if you watch Sporting Lisbon, that's not how he gets his goals. That is why we go back to the conversation we now had before about, if you have to drastically change the the way that you play to suit a certain player. That's an adaptation period. Gyökeres has to adapt to the Premier League and this new team. And the other players have to adapt to this new player, Gyökeres, because you play for your striker. So in that adaptation period, how long will that adaptation period be? Now, it could take 1 game or 2 games, but that United game could be very telling. So
it's going to be a good game regardless.
Yeah.
I think the worry for Arsenal fans has to be that in the first 3-4 games, it's not working to plan. So Arteta just reverts the type and chucks Havertz up front again and goes, look, this is what works. I'm just sticking with this.
That's
and we'll do
another
it again
argument.
at some point.
That first game of the season, we don't know if we're going to see Sesko, number 1, and we don't know if we're going to see Gyökeres starting. We don't know who's starting in that game. Let's be honest. Could be Havertz. It could be seeing someone else for Man United.
Because you know what's my worry with Gyökeres, yeah? He's like, I don't know if you remember when he was in school, yeah? And like you'd see 2 people at lunchtime arguing. Whoever's most popular is winning that argument, even if they lost. So what I'm worried about now is Gyökeres has come in and Arsenal fans are already saying, this is our guy. He is basically the savior of our team. So what I'm looking at now is this power struggle. With Aubameyang, it was like, yeah, you're cool, but you ain't really, you ain't won our hearts like that. Gyökeres didn't even have to kick a ball to win your heart because we've already seen the damage that this guy has done over there in Europe.
Yeah,
so I'm looking at it already. And
everyone going crazy.
You get it? What already doing? And I said, I've seen people saying that they've changed this to this now. I said, what I'm so worried because the first game when Gyökeres got like 15 minutes, I thought, okay, you can justify that. 60 minutes you can justify based on fitness, but I'll be honest with you, you probably should have just given him the whole game because people are already saying, yo, just give us the guy that can help. So I'm looking at this and I'm projecting, going, look, if you lose to Man United, I said this in the group, if day 1 of the season starts and Sesko scores a hat-trick and knee slides into the camera at the Emirates or wherever it is peak because the problem isn't just losing now. It's the momentum that you're also losing with the fan group. 100%. That is the biggest problem for Arteta. And what I would say is, because you actually made a very good point, adaptability should work in the sense of if you're a good enough striker, you should be able to come land and do your job regardless. We saw Haaland come and do it. It looks like whatever his name is.
Ekitike.
Ediface or whatever, bruv. Yeah, whatever.
He's dissing your guy, but
I'll be honest. I've got Isak coming. I'm being a little bit harsh on Hugo. I'm not.
I feel like them old guys. You know when they see the long name like Azpilicueta, they just Dave will do it, bro. But it looks like he's gonna come and land. Yeah, and of course we know Isak is gonna adapt very well. I remember when Haaland came. Yeah. I actually was moving mad in my friendship. I was saying, I don't think he's going to score more than 12 because I just thought he's not going to adapt well at all. And then I see man hit like 20 something, yeah? And I said, guys, I apologize profusely. But I remember that Man City struggled to adapt their game to him. And Pep didn't want to do it. But then it was like, listen, if he's coming, we're all going to have to make this work. I agree with you in the sense that I worried that Gyökeres has come, yeah? And it's already like, this guy is the big guy in the changing room. If you don't make him happy and we're not winning, Arteta, you're going to have to go. Havertz, you're going to have to pack your bags. And anybody else that wants to follow that regime is going to have to follow.
Do you know what's really ironic, though, right? If Gyökeres doesn't work individually or system-wise and Sesko kills it, do you know what? There's irony in it. That most of the Arteta inners wanted Sesko and the Arteta outers are the ones that wanted Gyökeres. And when it comes to the debate, I'm just preparing the Arteta outers for this. It will be, how dare you call the manager out? They listen to your opinions and your choice went wrong. How can you turn to them? And that's the way it always goes. That's the way these online debates go. I've been doing this for 10 years. And it's like a lot of the United fans who hate on Ineos, right? A lot of them were begging Ten Hag to get a chance with the structure. And then they're the same guys that are like, this club's a disgrace keeping them on. It's like, whoa. You can condemn the mistake, but you can't divorce yourself from the fact that this is what you asked for. You at least have got to say, I was wrong, right? Yes. But yeah, it'll be an interesting debate. But
actually, real quick, sorry. Who do you think scores more, Sesko or Gyökeres next season?
Gyökeres. I would love Sesko too. But I'm not going to sit here and Sesko has scored 21 goals last season, all comps, 13 in the league. Very good for an under 23-year-old. Gyökeres has scored 97 goals in his last 104 games for his club. It's even higher when you put in these international levels. I'm not going to sit here and I'd love it to happen. Not because it's not about shitting on Arsenal, nothing. It's purely it would be good for my club.
Benjamin No Show. You heard it here first. Benjamin No
No, but
Show.
see on the Jokeris thing, what you were saying about Jokeris, he's actually right, yeah. And I thought this yesterday because when I was at the game, right, every time he got the ball, the whole 60,000, it's like everyone wanted him to score so much. The players were almost trying to give him the ball, like when he wasn't in the right position. And there was just, I went to the game. I wouldn't go to an Emirates Cup game. I went because I thought I was going to see his first goal. I'm going to go again on Saturday. So there is massive expectation. And whether he can deal with that or not, it remains to be seen. But when you sign that big striker, because everyone gets excited about strikers. I mean, you spoke about Aubameyang. Listen, he did win our hearts. He won us the FA Cup. And he was doing more than what Jokeris did when we signed.
Fair.
He was scoring loads of goals. 30 goals, 20 goals every season in Germany. So when we got Aubameyang, he did, and he came in and done the business. Difference is we weren't going for a title with him. So, he won us an FA Cup. We're forever grateful for that.
Dan,
but Jokeris is the man to lead us to the title. Whether we can do it remains.
Sorry, Dan, what do you do for a job, Dan? What do you do for a job, like living-wise?
Personal training.
It's an absolutely fantastic example then. So this is the problem when the player tries too hard or the team tries too hard. I used to be a fighter. I used to fight for Team GB. So the sports element is there, the fitness thing. As a personal trainer, people can train too hard. They can try too hard. They can try and lift too much. Creates bad form. Makes your back arch in the wrong place or you're lifting wrong and you're not doing things. Like, for instance, shrugs, right? I see a lot of people in the gym, they shrug with this that's up straight, where actually there should be a bit more of your neck forward. And all these little things you see people doing wrong. And it's like, well, I know you're trying to lift more, but you're actually going to damage yourself in the longer term.
All the time.
This works in football. I noticed a bit of that last night. They didn't play the right balls to Jokeris. There was twice early in the first half where he was on the shoulder ready to run and he's waiting for the ball and it kept them going out wide because that's how you play. That was the right time. But then when Saka had the ball in good areas, he was trying to find Jokeris, who had three men in front of him, when what he maybe should have done is what he always does is cut back and shoot or look for somebody else. And the problem is when you overextend and you over try, and we've got to get him a goal, we've got to get that kind of the sort of monkey off his back, as it were, it can mess your flow up. What you're better off doing is staying relaxed. And there is that old adage, you can try too hard sometimes. And that's what Arsenal have got to also not do, is don't try to make Jokeris score as a matter of point. Try to get the team to score, and I think it will come organically. Like Arsenal at their best in the last 3 years, it's when you've just played off the cuff to a certain extent in attack, where it hasn't been, we've got to do X, Y, and Z and get into this man's head at this exact moment. Football isn't an exact science. Even Pep, who kind of mastered the art of these systems, literally has said in his books when you read them that my job is to get the ball to the edge of the box, then it's up to the players to work something out. And I think you guys need that fluidity, but you need to relax in what you're doing because you have the players. And there's a lot of questions about Saka looking explosive and not looking as good. I think he looks tense. I think he looks a bit like, I've got to show I'm going to be okay. Just relax, Saka, and play your game. Just relax and play your game. But that's also pressure. There is a pressure now on Arsenal winning. And pressure, listen, what is it they say? Pressure makes diamonds or it bursts pipes. Like it's one of the two things, and it's a massive season. That's why, by the way, and it's ended up, I made this prediction 6 weeks ago and got called a nutter. The only part I got wrong is what clubs the strikers have gone to. But I basically said Man United versus Arsenal was no fluke at all. Yeah. Both managers out of the top six are under the most pressure. We were both linked to very similar strikers, and it's literally ended up being Arsenal's number one target for the last year has become Man United's striker. And the one that everyone thought United would get because of the connection to Sporting and the manager has gone to Arsenal, both playing each other, opening day of the season. I've got to be honest with you, that could all be fluke, but I don't believe in that many coincidences. If you get home from work and your missus is sitting there with next door, he only come around 5 minutes ago for a cup of sugar, don't believe in a coincidence, boys. Like, he's been there a while. Stick around. You know what I mean? It's too convenient. It's too convenient, I'm telling you.
Medieval settings, that game,
No, mate, I can't. Honestly, I can't. But right now, though, as well, I'm never normally this confident. Right now, I've got a gut feeling 2-1 Man United. Gut feeling for that game. 2-1 right now.
I would be very interested to see the reaction if Arsenal lost that opening game.
Oh, my days.
It's a wrap. The whole season's done.
I think that would be a nuclear level meltdown. Because it'll be to the worst United team in the last however many years. And it's the Arsenal that are supposed to get over the line. And it would, I'm not saying it would define the season, but just for that week to see the meltdown and the fallout from Arsenal potentially losing that first game of the season.
No, but especially if Sesko scores the winning goal or he drops a 3-piece, then Twitter will be in you.
When was the last time Arsenal, like in a Premier League game, we conceded 3 goals? We're going to concede 3 goals to Man United.
Oh,
I like that one, Dan. I'm with you on that one. He's right.
No, I don't think it'll be 3-1 or anything like that. I just my mind might change by the end of Saturday when you play your last preseason game, and so do we. But I just have a feeling we're gonna have another player, maybe 2 in, but definitely 1 more in. Old Trafford's gonna. It'll just be an atmosphere. I think we'll win that game. And I only also say that last 5 times we've played you, it's been 1 draw, 1 win for you, and I think 3 wins for us at home. Like even in your pomp right now, in the last 3 or 4 years, your pomp under Arteta, coming to Old Trafford has been a game that you just haven't had a lot of good results in. Away at your ground, it would be. I wouldn't even predict a draw. It's definitely an Arsenal win. But at Old Trafford,
drew last year, we beat the year before, and when we had to win. Yeah,
but again, last year, I mean, if we actually had some decent attackers, we should have beaten you. The chances we missed in that second half were fucking crazy, like absolutely. And even when you beat us a year before, like, it's always close. The games are always close. So yeah, I'm just gonna go. I was gonna go. I was fancying it. Let's jump to some of these super chats, boys, because there's quite a lot of them to get through. First one says we can all blame Nelly, but he is not getting the type of help Saka is getting, and he does a lot of tracking back. Is what Alex
still plays with his head down, bro. So he's still a brick. So yeah.
Are you still using the phrase brick? Are you still using that?
It's still relevant in 2025. Terry, it hasn't changed.
Jesus, I don't know what's older, your hairline or that phrase, brother. It's one of them ones, isn't it?
I'm going to
yellow card.
Now, relax. I'm going to.
By the way, me and Have been friends for like nearly a decade, so it's different. It's different. I used to have a hairline like his, and then I redistributed my hair. So that's what I did. Who's AW?
Wenger?
Arsene Wenger.
Arsene Wenger last 5 years. Mikel Arteta last 5 years. Who's the better coach?
That's who Egal said.
5 years.
Oh, Egal must have said Mikel Arteta the last 5 years. It's in his last 5 years versus his first 5 years versus Wenger's last 5 years. Egal has definitely said Arteta. Definitely.
Gonner Dan, you answer that one.
Arteta's lawyer. What? Well, of course it is. It's a silly question.
Why is it Arteta? Because he got us to the Champions League semi-final.
Won the FA Cup with someone else's team.
You got 2 FA Cups in his last 5 years, no?
Yeah.
2007.
Back to back as well.
Back to back.
50. Actually, he might have got 3, you know, yeah.
I think he got 3. He got 2 back to back, and then he dismantled us in
There is no
2017.
argument.
You got 3.
There is no argument where I'm putting
Did he not have a second place
Wenger.
finish as well?
Disrespectful.
Didn't Wenger get a second place finish in that time as well?
No, we weren't in the Champions League for years, weren't we?
15, 16. What, didn't you finish second behind Leicester in the end?
Oh yeah, it was the 2-horse race between them and Tottenham bottled it.
So he also matched Arteta's best ever finish.
Hey, so Arteta's not even as good as
In no world do we compare Arteta to Wenger. Let's not do that. It's disrespectful.
Come on, that's the legend. That's Arsene Wenger. Obviously not. It's a flawed question.
Shiny shoes.
AMT says the number of times Gabriel Martinelli was losing the ball yet was a hell of a lot in what I saw. I only saw 35 minutes. Glock 9 here says Arsenal are always the bridesmaids and never the bride. Tom and Terry, do none of your trophies count since the day Arteta was hired? That's what I hear.
What?
I think he's trying to call out Dan. That's what it sounds like. I think he's trying to say that Arsenal fans
because the quality. Yeah, look, this is the thing. I'm not saying no one deserves the trophies they're in. The teams that won the league have been very good teams. I'm just stating that I don't think everybody else. And it's been a hard league and a competitive league, but there hasn't been 2 or 3 or 4 teams consistently at the same level as them. Where in years gone by that existed, and you boys know Arsenal fans. Those peak Wenger years when he was up against Fergie, both our teams were very good, and then the teams chasing us were also very good. Sorry.
Was Arsenal and United dominating?
We did, but there was teams chasing us.
From 97 to like 2004.
Yeah, and that was there. And then you go into the peak era though. And this is what I mean, right? So think about it this way. Would you all agree that European football had a bigger variety of teams that could win the Champions League between, say, 03 and 2013? You could see Italians, multiple Germans. We saw Portuguese teams win it, whatever else. So I say that because this is why I know the Premier League was stronger back then. Because there was a plethora of teams. You obviously had Barcelona, Real Madrid, Bayern Munich, as always, right? You had Juve, AC Milan, Inter Milan. As an example, Porto were a team that obviously won the Champions League in that period as well. And there were other teams that were good in that very good and difficult to beat in that period. Like Roma were a very good team back then, as an example. Every year, though, none of us were laughed at if you predicted Arsenal, United, Chelsea, or Liverpool to win the Champions League. In that period, if you went, I think Arsenal could do it this year. No one went, no chance, no heritage. That was never a conversation because we knew how good those four teams were. And you never laughed at the idea of those four teams winning the Champions League, even though there was 6, 7, 8 other European sides that could win it. Now, think about the predictions we all give at the start of the Champions League season. Typically speaking, everyone goes, Madrid, at the moment, the last 3 or 4 years, it's been Madrid, City, Liverpool. PSG Barcelona will now get Barcelona. Well, no, but Barcelona had 2 or 3 years where they were getting smashed up in Europe. No one cared. Like you could count on one hand how many teams people genuinely could win the Champions League at the start of every season. Most of the English, even going into the Champions League this year, Chelsea will get an outside shout now because of what they did at the Club World Cup. But people will write off Arsenal. City City and Liverpool will get counted. Then people will say Barca, PSG, Real Madrid. Outside of that, every other team is going to be written off. So that's why I believe that era was the strongest we were ever in, because you just had 10 teams every year that you were like, they could win it, they could win it, they could win it, they could win it. And the level, remember the players that were in all those teams, by the way. It's not like Ronaldinho was playing, Zidane was playing, Scholes was playing, Henry was there. Like and that was spread. So I hear what you're saying, but that's why I can't, Anyway, we move on. I'm late, but didn't West Ham win the transfer window recently? Yeah, they did, but that's also why I said, my bro, you're watching right back. I said that's on paper and we've got to make it translate. So I'll be happy with it, but I literally addressed that, my friend. You must have missed that bit as you got angry and put in the super chat, but thank you. Cognitive dissonance kicked in. He went, I've stopped listening to say fuck you. Waffle House Terrace. Oh, hello.
Wow.
Hey, Terry's always defending himself on this.
It says Terrace. My name's Terry. It's not my name.
No, but I feel like they're always gunning for you for something.
No,
either you said or something, bro.
My trolls are going to put my kids through college, so I never block them. I never. My advice to you would never block a troll. Never block a troll for long. Sometimes I block them for a few days, so they come back with more vengeance and they go more mad. It's funny. When you're playing like play fighting with one of your kids and you hold their head back to run and they let them go and they run really fast at you. It's like that. Anyway, it says the other Arsenal fans aren't even in the race. Other fans, Arsenal aren't even in the race. If they don't win, it's disappointment. And Arteta's a fraud. Pick a lane. This is true. You can't say they're not in the race, but then
he said they've got to win. Arteta must be fired. He said.
But the caveat to that is 2 years ago when it was City Arsenal, we were saying they were in the race. We're just saying now they're in a position where they are probably not. You're probably not in the race, but I actually have sympathy for Arsenal. I actually think this is a natural degradation of the team. Like, I think this is a normal thing for them to be in this period of time trying to add pieces. Yeah, I think this is normal.
It can happen. It can happen. Chelsea fans so blind with delusion, they wear sunglasses inside. It's 2 Chelsea fans both wearing sunglasses inside today. This is true. Joshua, what have I just done? I just deleted Joshua Jack's super chat about reading it. Sorry, let me go and find it on here, Josh. Sorry, mate. I'll have to read it.
Oh, you're finding it. Club World Cup champions, by the way.
It says I kind of chuckled when he told Terry you have to experience it, like we haven't experienced it. The worst min in Premier League history, the worst minute in Premier League history with Aguero goal, your fan base wouldn't have been able to have handled that. Yeah, I hear you. Thank you, Josh. Less points accumulation equals more competitive league, not easier to win. Hence the closeness of points between 2nd and 8th. Bless up is what official and speak says. Morpheus next to Terry. Took his own blue pill and chose to stay in the matrix. Wake up. It's always Arsenal with pressure to win the league.
What?
Thank you.
What
No,
pressure?
Great super
come on,
chat.
bro.
Great super
You
chat.
should have saved your money.
Says I don't want to talk too much, but spends the last 5 minutes waffling and saying everything. Yes, City, Paul, and Chelsea have improved, but so have Arsenal, is what Dan Shaw says here.
Dan, are you sure? If Arsenal have improved, bro.
Arteta has got Arsenal playing like Stoke City football after spending 900 million on the first team. Where is the fluidity Arsenal showed 3 to 4 years back?
That's my biggest gripe with Arsenal. The football
Fair
they played in 22-23, that was football that I thought could go on and win the league.
But
Now,
he needed to get results. He needed to get
now,
results.
I think Arsenal are easy to stop now. That football you played in that first year was scary. You were killing teams.
Oh, no, Terry, please go back to that last
And the year after.
job. Terry, go to that last job, please.
I've unstarted. What did it say? Chelsea ain't even the biggest team in London.
You don't even need to address it, bro. Lies are lies.
Can we just end this right now? Chelsea are the biggest club in London. Let's just end this now. Chelsea are the biggest club in London.
No chance.
Not going to agree with that one.
Oh, wait. This is actually an argument for you lot.
You got
It's
60
not, by the way, we haven't got the time to have that debate on the show
I was
today.
about
I'll
to
be
say.
honest with you, we ain't got the time for that debate. We've done. I just haven't because I've got loads of super chats and we haven't even gotten to the Liverpool section yet. Sorry, Liverpool fans ain't scared of any of you bums.
Wow.
Liverpool shouldn't be scared. Demba Bar with shades.
I prefer to be lame. Oh, they're talking about you.
No. It's you.
Oh, you've been done here though with your stats, by the way. Quest.
Oh, what are they saying?
Martinelli's completed dribbles 35%. Garnacho's 32%.
Martinelli's better than Garnacho, by the way, just to put it out there, 100%.
Who's better?
Martinelli's better than Garnacho, way better.
I don't know, man.
Yeah, he is.
agree
He's
with
not
that,
great.
you know.
We need to upgrade him, but he's better than Garnacho.
Not way better. I'll say better. Way
Both
better.
your Hondas are safe, man. I don't care about either of them. Both your Hondas.
Jurgen Klopp said he was the talent of the century.
Klopp's not here now.
This says Newcastle are like that squirrel from Ice Age. That bloody acorn keeps running away from them. Watch them go for Hoyland and he goes somewhere else. Listen, come take Hoyland 40 mil. We put him up for sale today as well, which is very interesting. We'll come back to some more super chats in a minute. What was very interesting after the Sesko news today, and this came out so quickly, is that a new bid from Liverpool is pending, is imminent. They are simply waiting for Newcastle to give the go-ahead. And I believe this deal is as close to done as you could be. Players agree. Everything, I think most things are agreed. It's literally Newcastle have got to find a replacement. Then the bid goes in. There is talk of it being around 120 million now, so not as high as Newcastle wanted. And Newcastle fans that have been on our show today have said they're worried that we've actually damaged our sort of ability here because we've left it so late and we're struggling and we're under a lot of pressure and everything else. But 120 million, the Isak bid, it is expected to go in according to the likes of Ben Jacobs and Fabrizio Romano. Tom, are you still confident that you'll get this deal done and over the line?
I'm confident that my club have done everything we can. At the end of the day, it's in the hands of Newcastle, and they cannot buy a striker to save their lives. And that might be that it won't. For once, it won't be Liverpool have stopped themselves. It'll be Newcastle's inability to buy number 9 might stop us from getting our target. We've done everything right. We've got the deal sorted. I'm still confident it'll happen because my worry was after Sesko, they'd go, there's no one else on the market. We'll just keep him. We'll just keep him for 12 months. But that seemingly isn't the case. It's almost like they are just a bit resigned to him going. So it's about get him gone now, get a couple of guys in and bounce back next summer.
I'm jealous of how chilled Tom is, That's how it is when you're Premier League champions. He's just chilled. He's getting Isak. He's just on top of the world.
I've got an option anyway in Ekatike who can do a job. I know that my club have got a backup option in Bradley Barcola. There's worse backup options out there. So if it doesn't, I still expect the Isak deal to happen, and it's 100% what I want to happen. If it doesn't happen, I'm pivoting to another world-class footballer in Bradley Barcola. So
but Tom, real quick, do you think that it will get done for? Because my belief is 150 minimum. Do you think that Newcastle will accept less than 150?
I've always said it'll be about 130, 135. A lot up front.
Without add-ons, without add-ons.
Total package of around 135, but a lot of it paid up front. So I don't think they were ever going to get 150 out of us. And the way he's handled the way he's went about the situation has kind of just weakened their stance on it as well. If he was sitting there going, I'm not fussed about going, if it happens, it happens, then yeah, they could get it because they're in the strong negotiating position. But he's refusing to sign a new contract. He's training alone. He's refusing to play any games. At some point, they can't sit there and demand 150 million at that point because you lose that negotiating power. I do still think we'll pay a lot of money. I do think it'll be quite close to 150, but I don't think it'll be in between that 120 and 150. I reckon it'll be about 135, maybe even 140, but it's just to get them through the door type thing. And look, if we had them, like we want to, then all of a sudden you're looking at one of the best attacks in the world, if not the best attack in the world, potentially.
But my thing for Newcastle, let's say Newcastle don't get a replacement. Do you still sell for 135 if you don't have a replacement?
If Newcastle don't get a replacement, they don't sell.
Yeah.
They'll just bite that bullet and try and reintegrate him and try and be like, it's water under the bridge. We'll let bygones be bygones. You can go next summer. The annoying thing for me is that apparently Isak told them last season that he was going this summer. So they've had 12 months to find a replacement and have gone 0 for 5. Like in that 12-month period, either they were sitting there going, nah, in these 12 months we'll convince them to stay, which is what I think they've done. So they haven't moved on anyone. Or in those 12 months, there's even more strikers that they've tried to get who they couldn't convince. At which point I start to question who actually wants to go to Newcastle. Like that's the only annoying part of this deal. Normally I'm criticising my club for not committing to it, but we've done everything right. But it's out of our hands.
Down to Newcastle, and
there's nothing we can do.
For some reason, people just don't want to play for Eddie Howe. I don't know what it is.
No, it's the Northeast,
man. You might be right about that, And
now they're not even going to get Jackson. Like at least Jackson was. I was sitting there going, everyone else is. The only good thing about Sesko going United was sort of like everyone that could compete was off the board in my eyes. It was like Chelsea aren't going to buy anyone now. Arsenal aren't going to buy anyone now. United's not going to buy anyone now. City we're not going to buy anyone. There's no one else left on the market. And now Bayern are getting involved. Who next?
Ain't they meant to be getting Witter or something?
What are they getting Jackson for?
I just need. I need Newcastle.
Also, sorry. Also, Saudi are now in for Wissa as well.
Oh, wow.
As the great Ric Flair once said, "Woo!"
Someone put out this point because the only thing I disagree with, I still think he might go even if they don't buy two. They might get one. If they don't get two strikers, I still think he goes. I saw this Newcastle fan tweet something today where he basically said if a PIF backed Saudi club takes Wissa away from us, and then a separate PIF, obviously PIF in case people don't know is Newcastle's owners. If a PIF owned Saudi club helps Liverpool raise the money for Isak by buying Darwin Núñez, and then the PIF-back Newcastle sell Isak to Liverpool. He's like, that's the final straw. I can't take him seriously. And there is an element in there where you look at it and you're like, imagine your owners. Imagine like the Cronkies own multiple clubs, and imagine their clubs are doing deals, or Man United's clubs. We've only got one, but imagine Nice are doing deals that hurt my club. That would be crazy. That would be crazy. If any of us were doing deals via Nice that were hurting Man United, that's crazy. That's crazy.
Yeah.
You can't blame PSR. You can't blame PSR for that one. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's a madness. But I think Liverpool get him, man. I don't even think it'll be as high as 150. I think it's going to end up being 120 now with a bit of add-ons.
But is that if Newcastle get a replacement though?
Yeah.
So if they sign one striker, I still think they'll end up doing it. I think it's a completely untenable situation, and I think it could be worse for them to have him around next year than not. I think they'll get the deal done with Liverpool.
No, obviously, once a player says, "I don't want to play," like, do you think Isak needs to put in a transfer request, or?
I don't know how he hasn't already. I don't know how everything he's done can't be construed as that by now.
But it's more formal. See, my thing is, Isak should have done this before the Ekitike deal. He should have put in a transfer request. And so this is now where I stand. So then Liverpool were like, oh, let's hold up for this whole Ekitike thing. Let's just put all our eggs in our baskets. Just get this Isak. So Isak should have made this very clear very earlier on, rather than just waiting. They don't put anything on Ekitike.
I mean, it would have been a lot less stressful for us, but it is what it is. I think it was a case of he wanted it to be all respectful, and then he saw Newcastle fumbling all these deals and went, there's a chance it might not happen. I've got to sort of, you're forcing my hand now to do this. You know, I know that it's an official document that you put in and it makes it look a lot more formal, but he's right now faked an injury twice. He's refused to go on pre-season tour. He's training separately from all the squad. He's done everything but hand in that transfer request. Everything. I do agree with Terry in the sense that it does feel like it would be very hard for him to. I do think there's a way that he comes back, because there's one thing to remember. All of us as football fans are very fickle. If someone sits there and goes, they want to leave the club, and then they've got to play for me in the season, and they come back and they start playing like the best player in the team, I'll forgive them for the time being and go, just keep doing what you're doing, and I'll ignore that you wanted out. So there's obviously always a way back for a player, but I do think that right now it looks very untenable in terms of him staying at Newcastle, because it just seems like every bridge is burnt.
No, because if you're Eddie Howe, like once a player says that, like what he has said without actually saying it is, I don't believe in you. Like, I don't believe in your roots one thugged out Joe Linton.
No, it doesn't mean that. It doesn't mean that. It doesn't mean that. It means he wants to play for a bigger club in Liverpool. That's what it means. Just a quick update. Currently, Sesko is currently flying over Doncaster for everybody that cares. He's currently over Doncaster on his way to Manchester. Tom, a question for you.
Lefty brother.
Okay, brother. Surely Darwin Núñez to Newcastle would have made more sense than him going to Saudi. No, he's getting paid 400 grand a week tax free.
He also wants to leave England. I know he was never the sharpest tool in the shed, but I don't think we could convince him that Newcastle was in Spain.
No way. Wait, have Saudi bag over that Newcastle bag? Come on, bro.
Yeah, and I agree. Why don't Newcastle loan Darwin Núñez and Tony from the Saudi League pay 50k per week? Because I don't think the players want to go there, bro.
Also, people forgot that there's now a rule in place in the Premier League, which means they have to check all the deals to make sure the fair market value. I'm sure they're going to sit there and go, Darwin Núñez has just joined Saudi Arabia for 52 million, and then I'm going to loan him out on a cost loan where they pay, 15% of his wages. That's really
they're not going to approve it. But I also don't think the players want to go there. Otherwise, they'd have probably done that. They just don't. And I don't know if I don't even know if Newcastle are top of Piff's priority list anymore. And what the Saudis are spending money on in football and in sport, I don't know where Newcastle come in their pecking order, because some of these, like the Riyadh season, could just sponsor them and pump in millions. Do you know what I mean? They don't. Like, there's loads, or maybe they do, but they could pump in more. The revenue is still really low for a Premier League team.
So basically what he's telling me, Teddy, is they thought they were going to be Chelsea, but instead the Strasbourg.
Wow.
Wow. In Ruben we trust. I truly believe he will bring out the best in Sesko. Of course, non-fans will want him to foul. Thank you, Terry, for your show. Your show is elite. Thank you, James. I appreciate that compliment a lot. Look, I want to thank everyone who's tuned into the show tonight. I want to thank my panelists for being on, everyone who's super chatted, everyone who's hit the like button. A big thank you and shout out to every single person who has done that. This is going to redirect you to Footy Judge Mo's channel. So go and support my brother over there. But have hope, Tom, Quest, Negative Dan and Positive Dan. Thank you both for coming on the show. Until next time, people, take care. Goodbye. God bless. And I'll see you all soon. Peace.
Thank you.
Peace.